Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, YouTube?
Oh, there you go.
It is Two Fat Guys Pool List live with you for...
My phone just told me.
Oh, look at that. Your phone said it. For episode 47. We've done 47 of these bad boys, and we're going to keep on trucking. But what's up, Jaden? What's up, Patrick? Thanks for everybody for getting in here. We'll continue to get people in. But we're going to take care of some business first, and Nate is going to tell us about our Two Fat Guys Pool List Mystery Pool monthly comic subscription service.
Yes, but before I do that, I'm going to tell Jaden about Tim Hortons. It is Canadian Dunkin' Donuts. Patrick schooled me on that, or gave me that.
Yeah, what do they call the donut holes? They don't call them donut
Oh
holes.
shit, I don't remember.
They call them like. Oh,
it's kind of like a cutesy name.
It's right there. I have it on the tip of my tongue.
I feel like Patrick's going to tell us before I can look it up. But oh god, I'm very invested in this.
They're like, what are they called? They're like, not cute. Timbits.
Timbits. That's what they are. Damn it, Timbits. You're thinking of that TikTok video, right?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, Patrick put it in there. Timbits.
No, I'm saying that's what.
Oh yeah, with the baby Yoda going like, "Oh, you can add the last Timbit there."
Yeah. So, mystery pool. You know, we've done 47 episodes. This is the first time I'm going to give you the spiel, so it's.
This will be fun.
I don't remember any of the information besides I'll one exclusive.
There you go. I'll put it up on the screen.
Yep. Oh, you're going to put it up on the screen.
Hopefully you can read it.
One store exclusive. Yep. This week it is, or this month it is.
Or the Bounty Hunters Alpha by Phil Noto.
Oh yes,
it's a pretty heavy one.
I will be purchasing this one for sure.
Yep.
You also get 4 to 7 back issues, anywhere from silver, bronze, copper, modern, an assortment in between. You also get a chance at a big fat key.
Okay, so those keys, the first step. So currently, for how many? I don't know how many boxes we've sold yet, but I know that our current giveaway, or that what Ron is going to give away, is a CBCS graded 9.8 Black Panther number 170 by Mark Cicchetto. And it's signed by Mark Cicchetto as well.
Marco
Cicchetto, sorry. So that's what Ron's currently giving away. I think you have up until Wednesday of next week to purchase a mystery box in order to win this bad boy. If we sell 20 of them, then this is where it gets pretty heavy. If we can sell 20 boxes this month, the month of June, Ron will be giving away the Silver Surfer, the Origins of Silver Surfer #1. Pretty massive book right here. Now, we got to be honest about it. So it's not in the best condition. You know, it's got a little bit of, someone clearly cut the bottom of it to make it look like it was, precise. And then it's obviously got some spine ticks on it and some little bit of cracks here and there. But either way, it's a pretty decent key there. So if we can sell 20 boxes, Ron will be giving this guy away for the month of June. So
it's a free book, so I think anyone that gets it will be okay with it.
For sure. So like we said, I think in the chat I put the Brainy Comics Two Fat Guys link. So if you're looking for it to buy, we do. And also anybody out there, we do ship to Mexico and Canada. So that is a thing. Before we get the show started, what up, Weird? We've got 2 other pieces of.
Jason's here too.
Yeah, we got some people.
Jason.
all of y'all that have already started in the chat, check this out. You're already entered for our chat giveaway. We did one last week. We're doing another one this week, but only because our winner of our 250 slab milestone giveaway donated the slab to do a chat giveaway. So we're going to go ahead tonight. We're going to do a live giveaway tonight like we did last week. I think last week Gentry won. Mm-hmm. Gentry won Wolverine. This week we are giving away tonight our 9.8 CGC graded Dark Knights Batman Who Laughs #1 foil cover. So this one will be going out tonight. So anybody that is talking in the chat right now, you have already entered to win this slab. So at the end of the show, we will be giving this away. The one way to once we pick the winner, you just contact us at twofatguyspoolist@gmail.com. Give us your address, and we will take care of you. We will send it out to you. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling names and putting them in the name generator. So be patient with me. Chat amongst yourselves.
Hello, Tyson and Flores. Thanks for joining us today.
That's not right.
Jim's gonna get you in the giveaway.
Gonna get you in there. So Patrick, I'm grabbing you first.
I actually grabbed all the supplies today to send off Gentry's book. And I made sure I had enough for this one.
Jaden, let me grab you.
So they will be going out Tuesday.
Our faithful moderator. Add you there. Okay, and then next up is Jason. What's up? Keep going.
You know what?
What?
I was going to show something off too, and then I realized my daughter ran away with it.
What was it?
I got a new pop.
A new pop? Is it Silver Surfer?
A new pop. No, it's oh shit.
Don't start getting into this pop game, man. You're gonna...
I'm not. We were at the store and she like grabbed it. It's a Johnny Storm.
Oh, okay. All right.
We were at the store and she was like, "Toy? Mine?"
Oh no.
Absolutely, yes. This is your toy. You picked the right one.
All right, everybody that is in chat currently that has.
Did you get Gary there as well?
I just put Gary in, so I got Gary,
Nice.
Flores,
Gary?
Tyson, Ryan, Jason, Jaden, and Patrick. You are all in the chat giveaway as we speak, and as we continue on, I will mention it throughout the show. Probably not every book, but every other book I'll mention it to make sure everybody that's in chat is entered, so we can have a fair and fun spin. So.
Nice.
Let's get into it. We've got a pretty decent sized week. I think we pushed a couple books into our honorable mentions just because we have so many books, but there weren't, last week was so beefy and it was so good. I mean, prime rib of beefiness.
It was filet mignon.
Oh, it was delectable. And this week, it just, missed a little bit of the seasoning, just a little bit. Weren't as many books that were as enticing, as tasty. But, we'll get through it. And we're going to go ahead and kick into the first book, which is we're finally finishing Jason Aaron's Heroes Reborn event with Heroes Return #1. And we get a purple label on the bottom, so it's a differentiating that this is the end.
Yes. They're also facing
the other direction. Yeah, so they're going at it with the Squadron Supreme.
Also, just want to make sure we got JD Barry here. What's up? If you want to add him,
get JD in there.
Jaden, I agree with you. I was not that big on him until I saw a Clert, like a Super Scroll, at a store next to a local comic shop, and it was like out of the box. It was like $3, and I was like, man, I've never seen a Clert figure before. That's awesome. So I bought it, and then my daughter became obsessed with it, and then I bought a Galactus, and then she became obsessed with that.
Oh no.
And so I'm like, hey, if there's toys that I think are cool on the shelf and she loves them, that's a win-win. Because I can just say I'm buying it for her.
That's what you see. That's like right now I'm buying Transformers, and Sarah's like, oh, that's good. You got them for the boys. It's like, right.
Totally.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, so let's get into Heroes Return here. I meant to look up at the before the show started about like where that Squadron Supreme Mephisto time altering issue was in Avengers. Because I wanted to land the number correctly. But that being said, this Ed McGuinness led artwork book felt like an Avengers book. and it felt like it should have literally been in the Avengers run. I think this entire event, Heroes Reborn, issue 1, and then issue 7, and then this one, literally feel like they should have been right in the Jason Aaron run when they mentioned basically what this thing is all about.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that from the get-go, but I think this issue especially really just kind of solidifies that. And I meant to bring this up. I was reading Jason Aaron's email, monthly email that he sends out, and he kind of hints at that. He goes, the Heroes Return story or Heroes Reborn storyline didn't flesh out the way we were expecting, but I'm so glad everyone, liked it and picked it up and did all this. It's like, yeah.
I think I'm going to throw another theory here.
Okay.
I believe, and again, they'll probably say to the contrary, and we're kind of doing the speculation industry talk crap, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I think when Dark Ages came out in Free Comic Book Day, I think they read it. Me personally, when I read it, I was like, that looks awesome. I want to read it. And I think they wanted to retool it, and then they just started switching things around, and they made this into a mini summer event. That is my honest opinion. So anyway,
Chloe, what's up?
What up, Chloe? We'll put you in the chat giveaway if you haven't heard about it. We're giving away a slab at the end of the night. So thanks for chatting. You are automatically entered. So basically, what we get in this book is in issue 7, the Squadron Supreme start kind of, hey, is something up? Like, are we not in the right reality? And in this one, they get confirmation. And they go to Wakanda because Wakanda has revealed itself in this reality.
Yep.
And they basically start throwing down with the original Avengers: Thor, Captain America, Black Panther, Blade, Starbrand, the Phoenix. And they just go all
aged
out.
up Starbrand.
Yeah, by like a couple of years. Like, she's now like almost 12 or something like that. Anyway, they duke it out, and then we cut back to Coulson. Coulson is basically taking matters into his own hands, and he's got this, like, I forget what it's like, this evil cosmic cube that
I can't remember exactly what it's called, but that's essentially what it is. It's Cosmic Cube.
And he's altering reality via Mephisto, and he's trying to, for some reason, they weren't able to stamp out the Avengers, which I find kind of weird. I guess they're just so powerful that
they have so much willpower.
There we go. They're
channeling their inner Green Lantern.
They can't get rid of. They can't stomp them out of their reality. So this was somewhat inevitable, it seems like. But Coulson seems to think that with this cube, he can snuff them out. No more Avengers, and that's not the case. They continue to get their asses kicked. Squadron gets their butts kicked. They realize that their reality has been tampered with. That they're not supposed to be this, version of the Avengers, essentially, that saves the world. And I find it hilarious. I think in the book, the one person I think that takes it the worst outside of Blur is Dr. Spectrum.
Yeah.
Because Starbrand literally, like, melts his prism. And he gets jacked up in this issue.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh.
And then, Coulson, looks like he's going to win, and then he loses, and he gets sucked down into hell. And, I don't know. It was a good issue. I don't think for me, the event is flat. If this is just an Avengers, I think it's spot on, and I like it. But as an event and just sprawling it out into 7-8 issues, I don't know, man. And then the tie-ins, those were, outside of one, most of the tie-ins were pretty meh or black.
Yeah, the tie-ins, seemed a little unnecessary. I think it would have been cool to tighten this up a little bit, maybe 4 or 5 issues. You didn't need a character spotlight on every single character. I was also really disappointed by the ending. I don't know how you felt about that final panel that we got.
I'll go flip. I liked the ending.
Okay.
And it was disappointing because I knew how this was going to end. Like, we knew that the Avengers were going to come back. We knew the Squadron Supreme was going to get put in their place. And everything's back to reality, right? I actually liked that last panel. So if you're wanting it to be spoiler free, now's the time to kind of push the mute button.
We gave you almost a week, right?
Yeah, right. But basically, at the end, Mephisto is from Reality 615, I think it is. Yeah, he says maybe he says there's 600.
No, he's saying 615 more Mephistos.
Just kidding. Okay, so 615 Mephisto. So he shows up in hell, and there are a shit ton of variants of Mephisto, from all the different realities. And they're getting ready to, basically, this was like a test to see what they could really accomplish in altering reality. So now we have a shit ton of, 615 Mephistos getting ready to fuck up the universe, the multiverse, whatever. I liked that personally.
I normally would think that is neat, but I think it was really poor how this was done, and so I don't feel confident in Jason Aaron doing another reality altering event with Mephisto. If I heard about that for like next summer's event or something, like I for sure would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. Okay,
all right, well. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it does seem like we're doing a lot of like repeats in events. I mean, DC's the same way. Like we're getting ready for a Crisis event in DC, and it'll be the first one that we get to actually experience. But as of right now, we've kind of done our homework since we got into comics and, read Secret Wars and been reading all these other like big giant events that have been going on in Marvel. And to me personally, outside of like bringing, Donny Cates has kind of mentioned this and kind of teased it, but it feels like we're getting ready for like this Ultimate Universe Secret Wars something event in Marvel. Like I think that's next summer.
I do think we're about to have a somewhat of an explosion of alternate realities, multiverses kind of going on in the comics right now, and I'm optimistically hesitant.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Because, I wasn't a comic reader in the late 90s to early 2000s when a lot of people were dealing with, like, the 2099 and then the Ultimate Universe and stuff like that. And so my familiarity is a tight pretty much one multiverse continuity or one universe.
Right.
And so I think the prospect is interesting, but I worried that like character development will get super muddled if we're like spending years on one character and then it turns out, well, he's the alternate character and alternate version and he doesn't really matter. And all this development is gone after 5 years because that version is destroyed.
I just find it interesting that, I don't know, like there's just this real fine balance or maybe their lack thereof. It just depends on where you're at currently in continuity of reading comic books. But I just find it incredibly complex that Marvel has to just work on the idea of creating new multiverses, continuity, and I feel like we've talked about this before where we're like, is this in continuity? I don't know. And now that it clearly feels like we're going in that direction, and maybe it's Dark Ages that sets it up. Who knows? It just feels as much as we complain about it, I tip my hat to Marvel and the writers and the editors for keeping everything straight somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine if there's not something like in the Marvel office that's just got string. Like, okay, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. This is all, and there's like maybe like one yellow like golden thread that's like this is the main continuity. Because God, I read.
I don't think anyone at Marvel is working that hard to keep up with it.
I know, but then we get these little notes. Sometimes we get these little notes like read issue blah 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 from 1975, and you're like,
right,
huh? So either way, I mean, I will say this: issue 1, issue 7, and issue 8 here, which is actually issue 1, I actually enjoyed. I just wish it had been in the Avengers run and not a summer event. Yep. And we did get, like, we've both had multiple issues in between that we really enjoyed, but it felt like just like an Elseworld character development story that it could have been. Like the Dr. Spectrum issue was really fun. Like, you really liked that one. I liked the Blur issue. And I think something is coming because I think that Silver Witch, Wanda, was teased in another book that's coming out later in late summer or into fall.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
something's.
I can't remember what it was.
I think there will be some consequence coming from this book. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, as an event, meh. But those issues that I named off, really good. Like I thought they were fun to read. And then as for the tie-ins, outside of the Final Flight Weapon X, that one was fucking phenomenal. I thought that one was really good. But all the other ones were not good.
Good.
So
All right, let's get out of here. This one.
Well, I was gonna read chat.
Please, yes, go for it.
Let's see. Buddy was trying to find Parker, but found Spider-Man. Thought that was funny. Tie into the multiverse of madness. They're going to go all out with it. Yeah, you're right. Not tying more to hype in the movies. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we did a solicitations video that's going to go up later next week for Marvel, and there are some books in there too that you're like, well, this kind of makes sense. Like this is more multiverse, alternate realities. There's multiple books like that coming out in September. So, all right, so that is Heroes Return number 1. Next up, we're going to jump into our X books with Wolverine number 13, aka X-Force issue.
Yes,
13.1.
There you go. Right.
This had almost no Wolverine in this issue.
Yeah, I think a big caveat for at least my personal opinion on this book needs to be that if you remove the story from the book that it is in, this is a good story. Is this a good issue of Wolverine? No, it's very bad. If I understand, we've always been big proponents of like this melding of X books, and everything in one book's gonna have consequences in the other, and like this is a big giant universe, and like I understand that, but there's we pretty much get the tying end, or at least the majority tying end of this multi-arc problem that Hank McCoy has been having with what is it, Terra Nova, and so for that to get wrapped up in a book that's not X-Force, when it's a primary driving force of the plot in X-Force, I think it's bad for him. I know they're both Benjamin Percy books. I mean, it's literally almost like he forgot what book he was writing, and then he wrote it and closed it, and it said Wolverine 13 on the top. And he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, well. Just go with it.
That's probably the perfect synopsis for it. And the other thing, I get it, covers usually have red herrings on them, but I was really expecting like Wolverine versus Deadpool part 2, like Deadpool was going to somehow sneak in, because that's what this cover looks like. Like he actually got in as like waiting staff, and he's in the book for 2.5 pages. I mean, it really is the sequel to X-Force and Terra Verde and what they want and why they're suddenly attacking. Like that's basically this book in a nutshell. And again, I agree with you. Like if it didn't say Wolverine on it and it just said Hellfire Gala epilogue, I'd be like, yeah, this is good. This was a lot of fun. But as a Wolverine issue, very disappointing. It just wasn't. It's just not what it is. Like it's just not there. The Deadpool that is in here is fun. He pulls out a bazooka. That's cool.
He does do that.
It looks like we're potentially going to get some allies in Terra Verde. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. There might be some double crossing there. But the one thing that we do get in this book that you would assume we would have gotten in X-Force, which we kind of did, is we get a continuation of Beast getting some upcomings, right? Like he's about to. It sounds like he's about to answer for his crimes. Like the shit he's been doing some shady shit in Krakoa.
I am surprised that we've still gotten this far without him really having any consequences for this. Yeah. And I will be a little bit disappointed if this falls by the wayside. Like I really feel like again, I know we're talking about Wolverine, but I feel like X-Force 21 or 22, whatever the next issue is of that volume, like we really need to like solidify some consequences, like address it. Like I want to hear from Professor X and Magneto what they think about it. That's, I don't know. I think they were first introduced in like issue 3, the Terra Nova stuff. So like let's do something with it.
We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if Professor X and Magneto are going to have time, because we got the trial coming up for Magneto, and then we got Inferno coming up. They may not have a fucking council to.
They do, because those are going to be in their own books. There's an X-Force book that still has to have content going on.
I'm just saying some big shit's about to happen, and they might not have time. But either way, Wolverine was, again, great Hellfire Gala story, not a great Wolverine story.
Yeah.
So
also, I was just going to say also, though, there is another little dangling plot that I think we'll probably see later. It seems like, what's his name? Oh, shit. Iceman's boyfriend is killed.
Yeah, he had the crystals. He had the crystals from...
Yeah. He had the crystals from the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
And some people got a hold of the ship, and...
People or possibly extraterrestrial.
Something got a hold of the ship. He's now floating in the water while the ship burns. So
we'll catch some Marauders. Yeah.
Yeah, that will have to, again, that'll probably have to transfer into Marauders now that I think about it.
A lot of muddy water.
Why is that happening in a Wolverine book?
Yeah.
And that involved Iceman and what's her name?
Emma Frost? Yeah.
Frost. So like, why is that in the Wolverine book?
A lot of muddying of the water in Wolverine for sure. It's just kind of like the dirty afterthought. Sucks. Anyway, next up, let's get to an X-Men book that actually had some pretty insane weight and consequence. That is S.W.O.R.D. number 6 from the great Al Ewing.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
You gonna push the button?
Yes, I am gonna push the button.
Oh.
That is a double guys pick of the week. It is the only pick of the week this week, so don't worry, you're not going to hear that multiple times this week like last week. It was slim pickings, but this one was really fucking good. It wasn't picked just because everything else sucked. It was picked because it was really fucking good.
Yeah,
mad Hoxpox feels in this book, mad consequence in this book, and holy shit, the teaser at the end, Rutro.
Yes. So there's going to be a lot of X spoilers in this book, because this is the last red-lined Hellfire Gala book.
Which I have something to say about that after we get done with this, but continue.
Okay. Yeah. There's supposed to be 4 issues of the 12 or 13 that are red-lined, that are highlighted as the big important books, like the ones that are of the main consequences.
Right.
Way that this book starts out with the conversation between Cap and Doctor Doom. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm a big sucker for Doctor Doom, but like, this conversation is so good. Like, I don't know. I feel like it really portrays the weight of the situation really well.
I think it also, Ewing does a great job. I think he's doing a really great job, and we'll get into this in Guardians too. He's starting to interweave a majority of his books with what the upcoming mini event that he has in Last Annihilation. And he does it so masterfully, right? Because we read this conversation, and obviously it's about X-Men and what they did to Mars, right? But then there's just these little nuances and little tongue-in-cheek things between Cap and Doctor Doom that you kind of forget that you're reading an X-Men book when you read this conversation. It's like, oh, we're reading a Marvel book, not just an X-Men book. And I think it's because Ewing's getting ready to, even though it's not being really presented to us as this giant fall event, Ewing is like, well, fuck that. I'm going to start, I've got all these books at my disposal. I'm going to interweave this idea of Last Annihilation in this book. And I think that's what we get with the Captain America, Dr. Doom conversation.
Uh-oh.
So I guess what we get here is basically Doom telling Captain America, like, you're going to need my services soon. Be ready. And I won't throw a fucking fashion show when I announce what is going to happen. Thought that was neat. And, that was the first couple pages. But the one thing that I do like is Cap basically doing the Cap thing and saying, like, we can all do it together. We could have terraformed Mars together. And Doom's kind of like, don't be silly. He's like,
right. Don't. That's not how this works.
No, it's not how it works, but it could have been presented differently. So we get that conversation, and then we jump to our Sword Station 1 now, because now we have 2, and we have a range of galactic forces being presented, the Mars terraforming, and now we've got another big announcement. And what we find out is the little triangle thing that the Sword base crew had stolen had jumped universes and multiverses to get is this new type of metal. And I forget what it's called. It's like...
Yeah, I forget what it's called too. You keep going, I'll tell you what it is.
Anyway, the metal basically, it's a metal that can be used to pretty much use anything. And the X-Men, or the sword-based people, are basically using it as currency. Just like Krakoa used the medicine as currency on Earth, they're using this metal, they can produce this metal, and they're using it as currency to gain favor among potential allies in the universe. And so the metal itself can be, it's heated up, and once it's used to construct whatever you want, it's basically unbreakable. It's like another version of adamantium, but even stronger. Mysterium. And so also, like, if you create computer components with it, the computer will run at 100% efficiency, no problem. Just all these different types of things. And so they're gifting it to all these different potential allies of the universe. You got the Snarks, you've got the Nova Corps, you've got Wakanda, you've got Peter Quill representing that
Spartax.
You've got a bunch of different empires, essentially.
So this part right here in particular, I just want to say, like, this scene with them all standing around is by far my favorite part. Like, it's my favorite part of the book. There's a lot of good parts of this book, but that, and then the page where it gives you the actual, like, info page on who these people are. I love when we get concrete breakdowns. Comics is one of those things where it's always very vague about, like, who people are and, like, where they're from and what is this species, because they don't know if they're ever going to get used again or how they're going to fit in continuity. So the looser you are with it, the easier it is to make it fit. But I love that we get, like, a straight lockdown on, like, the name of these people, like, where they're from, like, what their origin is, or maybe, like, what their reasoning for support is. Like, you have a couple of them here that are obvious allies. Empress Zuga, that's from the Snark War, is obviously an ally. S.W.O.R.D basically helped them, helped her win the war.
Gain power,
We've got Smasher, who is there representing the Shi'ar Empire, who, of course, is married to Cannonball. So, Shi'ar, obviously a ally of the mutants. Finally, obviously, that seems a little weird if you're an old school X reader, but they are allies now. Right. I don't know. I just really enjoyed this part.
The other one that's cool, I don't know if you knew this, but I got it from Harold's video. Galactic Rim Collective, the Orbis Stellarius. So apparently that is a collective of former empires that got completely destroyed or shattered during the most recent Annihilation event. And then they came together as one, say, like, we need to fucking come together until something like this happens again. And he brought that up. I was like, oh, that's cool. And now we're getting ready for another Annihilation event. So need to, again, I didn't know that. That's why I like to watch some of our other community members here in YouTube that we watch and value their opinion. He brought that up, which I thought was kind of cool. Anyway, the S.W.O.R.D base, basically, S.W.O.R.D gifts 100 tons to each collective. And the only thing they ask for is recognition that Mars is the center, the hub of the Soul universe. And most of them are kind of like, okay. Except, again, Wakanda 100% is like, we don't need your shit. We got our own stuff. We're good. Sorry. We don't want to play.
Yeah.
Which I think will come down. We're going to see a lot of that in the next Black Panther book. Because then,
hope so.
I think we will, because as things are progressing, guess who shows up? Dr. Doom.
Yep.
And he's like, well, explain to me why I have to recognize y'all. Why do I have to give a shit? Explain to me why I have to give a shit. And who is this regent of Mars, the leader of our entire solar system? It can't be anyone more important and of consequence than me. And this is where I really liked this book. you get this ominous voice who's like, you know my name, you know who I am, and as
Well,
this
and
person-
hold on, I specifically want to point out that Doom says, who is this new planet? Tell me his name. Who is the king of Mars? I would speak to him.
That's right. And then this person speaks, and as this person is speaking, this mutant is speaking, the atmosphere inside the station is getting all wonky, and lo and behold, it's Storm. And Storm is
Storm.
And I am the voice of Soul. And dude, I will try to get our other camera here. Let me see if I can get it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't know. Is it not popping up? Oh man. Oh well. I'll
Look
show
it
the
up.
screen.
It's a freaking amazing panel.
Yeah,
it's
she's
so
just
cool.
like "Sacha!" She just shows up, freaking awesome, and she tells him like, "Yo, man, this is my shit. This is my domain. If you fuck with it, there will be consequences. So deal with it." And so that's basically where the book ends. I mean, we get another data page where we see the breakdown of the collective and who accepted the gifts and who didn't. And I believe the only people again who don't accept the gift,
Wakanda, the intergalactic empire of Wakanda.
Yeah, Wakanda. Everyone else does. The new Korean Scroll group acknowledges it, even though there is a little bit of hesitancy. We'll have to see how that goes. Sounds like what's his name? Super Scroll is going to keep tabs because he's basically the ambassador to the area. So there might be some, we still have Ewing's little teaser in the last Empire, or the last what was it?
Yeah, it was the last issue of Empire.
Where they come attack that coalition. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a betrayal there or not, or if something shifts where things just kind of get awry, which, we've got Inferno coming up. There might be. And then you think that's the end, but wait, there's more. And this is where Ewing, I think, has been in straight discussion talks with Hickman. I think the office right next to each other. They Zoom call each other all the damn time. We cut to Magneto. The gala's over.
He's enjoying a nice glass of whiskey.
Yep, just enjoying the night. He's basking in his accomplishment of terraforming Mars, and someone walks through a gate, and that person goes, "Magnus, I got your invitation." And who walks through the gate but the great pretender, Wanda. So we have been wondering.
So exciting.
Oh my God, we have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to find out what, if anything, if she's ever going to show up. Like, she kind of showed up a little bit in the Empire X-Men event. She was the direct cause of that part of the event. But Magneto basically sent her an invitation to come to the gala. She decided not to come, but she shows up at the end of the event and goes straight to Magneto, and she's looking for. It would seem that she's looking for forgiveness, but she doesn't know if it's attainable. And what she doesn't realize is that Magneto is part of the council, so maybe he can pull some strings. Maybe, I don't know. But they have this pretty long discussion. They confirm obviously what we've already known, that she is not actually the daughter of Magneto, at least in this continuity. They do not confirm that she's not a mutant. Right?
It's still left very ambiguous.
So she walks through the gate, and she doesn't have a flower like everybody else, all the other humans that had to go through the gate. She goes straight through it. So that, to me, is assumed that she is still in this continuity a mutant.
Yet in the very next panel, she refers to herself as the Pretender.
And I don't know if that's her.
As specifically she could refer to herself in a lot of different ways, but Pretender,
right,
I feel like is very specific to this.
I don't know. It's just it's gonna be. I tried to get. I don't know. I tried to get some kind of understanding from. What's his name from Comic Book Herald, and he didn't seem to have. At least I didn't watch his live episode. Hold on, I think I got my cam to work now, so we can kind of show a page here. Basically, we didn't get to see. He didn't anyway. I know they had like a. What is it? You know, like a speculation part of his live show that he does on Wednesdays, and I didn't get to watch that yet. But he's trying to figure it out too, and he is my go-to X-Men opinion and theorizer on the internet on YouTube right now. So I need to go back and watch that. But I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see some consequence with this. I think this is gonna have to. I think this situation that Ewing brings up is going to be part of the trial for Magneto. I don't know. Again, there could be two or multiple reasons why he's being tried, but we were always told that he kills somebody at the gala. So we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. But I think Harold brought up 2 points. Either he thinks that the trial is going to be he kills Wanda. I don't know. Or the other one, now this one, like I talked to you about this one, he's like, that makes no sense, but he brought it up, so I have to talk about it, because if Harold's saying it, I don't think he's saying it just because for shits and giggles. I think he thinks there's some merit to it. And it's, at the end of this book, Wanda basically says, I need to be absolved of my sins. I don't know if I can do that. And he goes, I will do everything in my power to make things right. Now, when he says that, we don't know if he's saying that for the good of Krakoa, which we would assume he is, or if he's saying that with Wanda, because when he says that to Wanda, he brings up his other children, he brings up his other grandchildren, and how he's had massive mistakes with his kids. You look at Xavier, he's had it, but he's such a coward that he can't really fix the problems. He just kind of walks away from it. And what we get from Magneto in this book is like he's more like, no, I'm going to fix this. But when he says that, we don't know what the meaning is. We don't know if he's going to do whatever it takes to keep Krakoa in line, right? So that means Wanda has to die because everyone wants her to die, or if he's going to lay down on the sword for Wanda, and that's what the trial's about. I don't know.
What does that mean? No one's gonna say we'll forgive Wanda if you kill Magneto. No one's gonna agree to that. No one's gonna feel satisfied.
I agree.
From that.
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying Comic Book Herald brought it up.
Well,
I respect his opinion, and he wouldn't bring it up if he didn't think it had some merit. So
I bet you what has to happen is she's probably gonna have to go through the Crucible to try to absolve herself.
But she has powers, so did they depower her? How do they depower her?
Don't use your powers.
Don't use your powers, or you die and you don't get resurrected. Okay.
Maybe.
I like that. Anyway, so I think we have one more X book after this, but I want to say this. That drop was really kick-ass, and it's kind of like, oh shit, we're finally like, what's going on with Wanda and the island? What I will say is I'm very disappointed because we still haven't gotten it yet, and hopefully we get it in this last book that's part of the X-Force, or I'm sorry, the Hellfire Gala, which is X
Factor and Cable are, I think, both part of it.
So I would assume it's an X Factor. I wouldn't see Magneto killing somebody in Cable, but maybe I don't know. But I'm just kind of disappointed that in this red issue, which is like the last big issue in Gala, we didn't get, like, I was expecting, who did Magneto kill and for what reason, and we didn't get it. So that's my only like meh part of this book. But overall, this book was fucking phenomenal. Artwork again on point, felt much like Hoxpox, and I'm always looking for it. S.W.O.R.D is top 3 X books right now for me.
Oh yeah, totally.
In my opinion. All right,
Jimmy, what's up? How's it going? You want to add Jimmy Henson in there?
I'll get him in there. Let's get to Way of X number 3. This book's got a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't want to go into it too much, but
no, you're good.
This book starts out really funny. Like, if you've been reading any of the other Hellfire Gala issues, you've definitely seen a super drunk Nightcrawlers stumbling around in the background.
Yep.
And then in this, the first 2 pages are literally front eye, like first person perspective of him walking around, and as each panel goes on, he gets more and more belligerent and indecipherable. You can't understand what he's trying to say.
I did like the first-person view that you got in multiple panels, like you were playing Nightcrawler in a video game.
Right.
Cool.
And at first I was like, what is this perspective? And then you can kind of see his hands in front of you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But, man, I don't know. This issue is funny. It still has the same humor that we have had throughout the other two issues of this so far. I will say that there's like you said, there's a lot of things that are problematic about this issue. Some that are just kind of messing up continuity-wise that just don't really make any sense. And then some that are a little bit more problematic through a certain lens. So I'll address the first one, which is kind of easy. Basically, the whole thing about like what this Way of X book is trying to do is, tackle the minds and souls of mutants. Like we need some kind of unifying thing. At first Kurt thought it should be a religion, and now he's trying to change that up a little bit and see what it is. He's really focusing in on the 3 laws of mutantdom, and in this issue we're focusing on make more mutants. What is really strange to me is that for the guy that's basically been really shedding off his Catholicism and who has a really long history of being very forward in his sexuality and being very flirty and like, there's a panel from the 80s of him in a bathtub. Literally the only thing that's covering his junk is a tiny little Nightcrawler toy. And like, in this issue, he's like a prude. He finds out that one of these characters, I can't remember her name, Stacy something, has been running basically like a brothel of sorts. And he's like, and providing contraceptives for people and just making sure pregnancies don't happen. And he's like, this just goes against all of our beliefs, and we're supposed to be making more mutants and sex just for fun? Like, that's ridiculous. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Like that's
well, it's
I don't know.
Well, I think what they're trying to do, and again, it may not make sense, is like you said, like he's been shedding his persona of Catholicism for a while now, and then he got to Krakoa, and he's really like, I think there's been an absence of that because that's really a lot of his identity. Like you read, like even in the movies, like it's always like that's part of it, right? And so I think when he got to Krakoa, and then he was brought back to life after Hoxpox, I think he really latched on to the idea of the 3 laws. Like I think the 3 laws of Krakoa kind of filled that void that he was.
He just changed his fundamentalism.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just kind of what we're seeing here. We shot from A to B really fast because we never really got that development. We were just told that he should look into making a religion, right? We never got to like, well, let me really understand our laws so that it can be my fundamental belief on this island. And we just kind of went from 0 to 60 in this issue.
Yeah. Gotcha. Hold on just a second.
Yup. Patrick, let me see. I just wish I could get excited about the X books. Just so daunting. There are a lot. I mean, a lot of people have issue with that. I totally get that. When we got into comics, man, I jumped on it and I was like, I'm getting all of them. And I went back and I got from where we were at to current back. And you're right. It is a lot. And I'm getting to the point too, me personally, where it's just getting super, it's getting super, it is daunting. Because there's just a lot of books, and like Fallen Angel, man, oh my god, that was I didn't need that book, and now we're on X Corp, and it's just I don't think it needs to exist. To be personally honest,
not
yet anyway. But anyway, and then you also have I grabbed #1 of Way of X because I love Nightcrawler. I should pick up the others and sub to this. I would agree with that. This is a really good book, and it is definitely setting up some some crazy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is.
Anyway, so we like Nate was saying, Nightcrawler goes to this like brothel where mutants are, expressing feelings for one another, just kind of enjoying life on the island. And this mutant shows Nightcrawler that there's another side of this where there are mutants that are procreating, but they're not necessarily taking care of their kids. They're just kind of leaving them there. And so there's this kind of orphanage that has been made at this place. So that is another consequence or situation on the island that Nightcrawler finds out about. So that's kind of why the mutant that runs it is giving out condoms, because there are a ton of mutant babies being born and nobody's taking care of them, and so they have to take care of them themselves. And then we get our character that we've been kind of following since issue 1, which is the character that can mess with gravity. And she goes into the orphanage part of the island and she reads stories to the babies and sings to them and takes care of them. And then at some point, I don't remember what triggers it, but someone...
It's Cortez.
Oh, that's right.
Cortez
goes in there because he's trying to find a lover, and he, is drunk, and he bumps into her, and she like loses her shit on him. But in the process,
he says something pretty ridiculous to her. I can't remember.
Yeah, like, I'm fucking Cortez. Like, I'm, you don't speak to me that way, something like that. But what happens is, in a previous panel, I think it's Pixie and Legion are... Well, Legion, what he's trying to do is he's trying to find the Paper Man, this spirit that everyone's been talking about on the island. And in doing so, he's able to, like, there's like two couples that are trying to... I was a little confused. This is where the other controversy happens in the book.
Okay. So it is Loa and Mercury. So they are also trying to have a fun night of their own. And this, they're obviously two women, so this is a lesbian relationship. But because of the way Loa's power, and I don't remember exactly what it was, because of the way Loa's powers manifest when she gets excited, it makes them unable to be together physically. And so Legion says, well, you can do what I and whoever, I can't remember who his old girlfriend was, blindfold. What we used to do is, just in our heads. And I can do that for you. And basically he uses this situation to manipulate them into bringing out what's the bad guy's name?
I think it's called Paper Man.
Well, no, it's the main bad guy.
It's Onslaught, but
it's Onslaught. Yeah,
he's currently, before he was revealed, the island and all the kids and people that have been having nightmares have been calling him the Paper Man, because he's got like a mask. But it's Onslaught, yeah.
Right. So he is using them. He's manipulating them to bring out Onslaught out. The issue with it here, and again, this is not something that I personally caught in the slightest bit when I read this book, but this. I think this is a good reason why it's nice to have broad horizons, and like if you're a social media person, follow people that are not just what you are, not just like for me, I don't just follow white straight men because I understand a white straight man's perspective. That's my perspective,
right?
But there was a particular trans woman that I follow whose opinion on comics I respect a lot. Brought up that this is really problematic. That the first time that these two have a gay relationship, it's through the eyes of a man that is being manipulated, and that but they're being manipulated in a way that symbolizes that they're not good enough. And what's worse is he fucks it all up. What happens is what he does is he opens their minds to each other completely, and so Loa is able to see things about Mercury that like are her deepest, darkest secrets that she doesn't even have the ability to explain or to understand herself, or put into context for Loa to understand. And so when they come out of this thing, they look at each other and are just so disgusted, and are just like, I don't want to see you ever again, and they get super angry and run away. And Legion knew this was going to happen. He did it on purpose because it's because of the intense, strong anger emotions is what drives Onslaught there.
Yeah.
And so I just, I think that I don't think Cy Spurrier's like some kind of bigoted guy that was just trying to say that, lesbian sex in X-Men comics is good for nothing but driving a plot forward, like in having a man use them. I don't think anything like that, but I do think it's a perspective that is interesting and, I don't know, something to think about. It was a little disappointing to have that perspective and then match it up with my own disappointment with the kind of turntail of Kurt's personality. It's made this issue to me just a little bit jarring. The first two were so good, so smooth, and then we get to this one and it's just kind of like, don't understand. Okay, let's maybe see what the next one is.
I will say though, like, I do think it was jarring, or it ended abruptly. Like, so Onslaught escapes that scenario. He puts himself into that gravity warping mutant, and then he gets kicked out because Legion and Pixie follow him. And then it's like Onslaught's here, and he goes away. He's like, I'll be back, and he goes away, and then we go back to the party. And when I read that, I was like, wait a minute, it's fucking Onslaught. You need to go get him. Like, don't. He's gonna fuck everything up. Like, don't just let him go. So the issue ends with the doctor that's created the drugs. He gets somewhat influenced to pursue a night out with Dazzler.
Yeah, of course.
Because he was like insulting her, right?
Much.
Yeah, he hates her.
Yeah. He's been constantly shitting on her singing for like the first two issues, and I did think that was very funny.
So the issue ends with them dancing, and I'm like, I ended the issue, and I'm like, but Onslaught, like, he just escaped. So the next two issues we're definitely dealing with Onslaught, and then we're gonna get into a new tie-in issue that's gonna lead into another new book because Way of X is ending at issue 5 or
5, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like this is just kind of like a mini series, but it's gonna dive into another book. But we recently found that out in our solicitations video, which will be coming out next week. So, all right, this is a perfect time. We're gonna jump into our next Marvel book, but before we get there, I just want to again remind everyone: if you're new to the chat or new to the channel and you haven't chatted in the chat, a lot of chat going on. We are doing a chat giveaway tonight. We're giving away this slab tonight at the end of the show. We're going to pick one random winner from within the chat. All you got to do is say hi or be part of the conversation in chat. And that is the CGC graded 9.8 Batman Who Laughs #1 Dark Knight Metal tie-in foil cover. Someone won this last week, donated it back to do a chat giveaway. So that's what we're doing tonight. So make sure to, if you haven't chatted yet, get into that chat. Enter yourself to win. I'll get you in the little spinny wheel dilly, and we'll get it started at the end of the show.
Spinny wheel dilly.
Next up, we have from Al Ewing, Guardians of the Galaxy #15. This is the setup. This really is the setup to Last Annihilation. This is the tipping point, I believe, because to be really quick in it, also this is a S.W.O.R.D issue 6.5 as well, so it's kind of split into two. So you have more conversations on the S.W.O.R.D base. Actually, it happens but prior to the S.W.O.R.D issue. So we have Magneto and Nova going at it, them both, I hate you, no you hate me, let's fight, so we get that in this issue prior to the reveal of the material that the S.W.O.R.D base has. So that was kind of cool. The artwork in this book is also very fantastic. It was phenomenal. But the big reveal in this book is that Ego, who was put into infinite darkness in 2 issues ago, is finally transforming, and it looks like this old scroll sect, was summoning Dormammu. So at the end of this issue, Dormammu is resurrected, brought into existence. I don't know. I don't know where he's been. But he is brought into the existence, into this universe. And that is where we're potentially going to start Al Ewing's last Annihilation event, is with Dormammu. So, this has a little bit of Hellfire Gala in it. We've got some main, and then we're kind of, Guardians is going in the direction of Dormammu in space. So I think Ewing's gonna continue the split of I think Guardians are gonna be dealing with obviously mutants for a while now because they've kind of lay claimed to Sol, to Mars. So I think we're gonna see some Storm. I think we're gonna see Magneto. I think we're gonna see the S.W.O.R.D base in Guardians of the Galaxy, which, hey, you don't see me complaining. And then I wanted to know what you thought about the whole idea of Dormammu being kind of the center of this Annihilation event rather than someone more cosmic.
I know so little about Dormammu, and I have not read a single arc or storyline that has him as the main villain.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't feel particularly one way or the other about it. Mm-hmm. It does seem a little bit strange. It seems like he fits more in the magic side of things. So more of a Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch. I don't know, something over there. But I'm fine with it. I trust Al Ewing to use him appropriately.
Yeah, I think he will. And right now, when Dormammu shows up, he's just like a giant flying head. That's he doesn't have the rest of his body. And I think the next issue of Guardians is the reveal of him fighting tiny versions, or he's just a giant that they fight. The other thing I will say is the fact that Dormammu has been, kind of announced that he's the next big villain. I think I brought this up in our solicitations video, but it'll be interesting to see if we get any Doyle Dormammu in this book, because in Strange Academy it's just hinted that he's don't fuck with him, he's gonna be the end of the universe. So I'll be interested to see if we get any Doyle in Guardians, or if we get any of the Last Annihilation storyline in Strange Academy. Yeah, I'll be interested in that. I really did enjoy the Nova Magneto fight. It lasted for a while, and then they finally got their heads cooled, and they kind of came to an agreement. And I thought, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this is where we're going to get what Magneto did to get a trial. Maybe he'll kill Nova. But that didn't happen. So I kind of give kudos to Ewing to kind of putting that in there. And if you are reading X books, you're like, oh, maybe this is the drop. This is where the trial begins. But alas, it's not. So we're still waiting on that prize.
Yeah, but it was still fun.
Yeah, overall, really fun issue. If S.W.O.R.D had not come out this week, this would have probably been my pick of the week. But S.W.O.R.D did, so this one to get the push. This one to get the
this one gets
push.
the first.
Yep. So that's Guardians 15. Do you have anything else to add to it?
I don't.
Okay. So
before we move on, though,
yep.
I'm gonna add a link to the article I was talking about for the previous book for Way of X. I feel like I didn't explain myself very well. And so if anyone is interested, go click on this link. It's the actual full, not just the Twitter explanation of where she was coming from on her problems with Way of X. I think it's much better to hear it from a trans mouth that actually has the problem with this than it is just from a white guy trying to tell you. So go read that article.
Very nice. All right, next up we've got Captain Marvel 29. We'll be quick on this one as well. Cap is trying to learn magic, and Doctor Strange is like, no, you can't. It'll be the end of the universe. And so the last issue, Cap went to the Enchantress and was like, teach me magic. And she was like, what?
Yeah. She was like, what? And she was like, hey, teach me magic so I can kill your son from the future. What was that?
I'm not going to tell you that. Whatever. Yeah. So in this book, we get a lot of internal dialogue from Cap. Basically, she's essentially tricking Enchantress to teach her magic so that she can kill her son, or her supposed son, in another timeline. And so that's what this book is in a nutshell. They go down to the depths of the ocean to find this pearl that all magic users know about. It's not a secret, but anyone that knows or can use magic can't really get to it. So that's how Cap can go into this bubble and get it. She has to fight these two giant demon eels, and that's pretty epic. Like she like busts through them, like through their stomachs and their cheeks, which is pretty cool. And she essentially gets the orb. She's able to get it. That's the issue in a nutshell. It's her conflict and the fact that she's gonna have to kill Enchantress's son, but she had to employ Enchantress in order to get to it. So there's a lot of like tug and pulling on the ethics of it all. Right. And then we're jumping into issue 30, which I think is an anniversary issue. I think it might even be an oversized issue.
I think so too, yeah.
And I think the preview even said like allies and alliances will be broken. So obviously, this strange affair will probably end.
Well, yeah, we also have Rhodey coming back as well.
Right.
He was at the very end of this issue. So.
I think even Strange knows that he can't handle Captain Marvel, so he needs to get out.
Yeah.
So, that's this issue in a nutshell. I really enjoyed it. It just was kind of a fast, quick read. I don't think... it just was a quick read. Thompson did a great job. I thought it read well. The pacing was good. I thought the internal thoughts of Captain Marvel were done very well. Captain Marvel is a very good book. So if you're not reading it and you're looking for something new to read, highly recommend it. It's really good. I don't even have that much of a connection to Captain Marvel. I'm not like a big, like huge Captain Marvel fan. And it's a really fun book to read.
Definitely.
So after that, we have Silk number 4. Silk's really not in this book a lot. It's more about this new villain that we're continuing to, her nemesis, if you will, this new girl that's in charge of this gang who's getting rid of all the other gangs. What we find out is this dude in the cover is her father, and we get a backstory of how he pushed her to be the way she is. And so there's that, and there's also the girl. She employed a cat demon, and so the cat demon is going behind her back and is actually resurrecting like her boss. Mm-hmm. And so in this book we see that too, where she fights the cat demon and is like, "You're not going to double cross me," and the cat demon's like, "You're a human. I don't care. Get out of my way." And we see that person actually has some powers in this book. So she's got some kind of like cyborg psychic powers in this book. And then the book ends with Silk talking to her dad in this robot suit and basically saying, "Stop pursuing her. Don't get in her way. You don't want to work with her." And she's like, "Yeah, whatever." And she leaves. And when she shows back up to her apartment, the girl's in her apartment going, "Hey, we need to talk. I need your help." So she's kind of at a crossroads. She doesn't know what to do. So that's how this issue ends. I'm really enjoying Silk right now. I've said it in our pool video. I'm going to be really sad when it ends, and I hope we get more later. But it's been fantastic. I know a lot of people weren't digging it the first issue, but this is a really fun book. So, when the trade comes out and you're looking for something new, I highly recommend picking this up.
Nice.
So, all right, let's get into Star Wars. Star Wars.
Got to get through our weekly War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yep.
Doing this one book per week.
I'm gonna grab some water really quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're good. So this issue, obviously is the Darth Vader tie-in. So we're going to be focusing on what he is doing and how he is going to be involved in this, clash of people fighting for Han Solo. So basically what he does in this issue is he goes to one of Jabba's, I don't remember if it's like brother or cousin or, someone that's in the Hutt crime family, and says, "Hey, you're going to take me to where this meeting is occurring." And so that's basically what he does. They use his ship to get into this particular sector of space that is locked down, except for if you have a Hutt ship. While they're there on the planet, he gets into a giant fight with, I can't remember the robot's name. It's like IG-88 or something like that. He's appeared in a lot of other stuff before. What's up, Calvin? And honestly, like the bulk of this issue is a pretty big fight scene between them two, which I really enjoyed. It was the artist on this book. I cannot remember who it is. Let's look. Rafael Ienco. He does a really awesome job with blasters and lightsabers. Like, I don't know what it is, but The battle scenes in all of these books so far have been really good. Also, if you missed the War of the Bounty Hunters that had the previous Jabba the Hutt family, I'm just going to try to put this on my camera real quick. I don't have the fancy one that James does. But is this not one of the most disturbing images of a Hutt you've ever seen? Like, just like an absolutely fucking ripped Hutt? I don't know. I guess I'm just used to Jabba, but it, like, freaks me out. Anyway, this issue ends with us realizing that the robot IG-88 has been under the employ of Administrator Moore, who is kind of vaguely involved with a few of the other previous issues and is like one of the right-hand women of Palpatine at the end of the Clone Wars. But yeah, so we see this. There's another secret organization that's out there trying to kill Vader. So it seems like he's probably going to be running into his own problems while trying to be involved in this War of the Bounty Hunters. And yeah, Jaden, I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't know. Like, obviously, Jabba himself is gross, right? Like, he's super fat and bulbous, and he's got drool all on him. But like, that bothers me less than a fucking ripped Hutt with like 12 abs.
Is that why we have a vomit emoji?
Yes.
What up, Calvin? I'm putting you in our chat giveaway. Thanks for being in the chat.
And that's it. That's Darth Vader.
Oh, cool, man. That was good. That was easy. All right, so next up, we're done with our Marvel books, and we're kicking it in gear to our DC books, and we're just kicking it off with Superman Action Comics. Oh my god, I'm winded going up those stairs. Holy crap, I'm fat. I'm fat.
We named the show appropriately.
Right? Ain't gonna be fit fat guys pull us. Jesus, that was hard.
Oh no, it'll never be too fit guys pull us. Never.
Anyway, Calvin, thanks for joining us. Action Comics, Superman. I'm digging it, dude. I'm really digging this. Oh no.
I'm enjoying it, but I'm feeling like I'm having a really hard time following what's going on here.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm having a hard time following what's going on.
Interesting. Well, so we had the refugees coming to Earth from the battle planet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They've been tortured. Yeah, they've been tortured or been conditioned to basically fear Superman and his sigil. And then we got this weird tablet that the Atlanteans don't want to give up, and then it transforms their people into giant monsters, into giant kaiju.
Okay, so that's what I didn't get. Like,
okay.
What is this shit with Atlantis and?
Well, so
so
when the ship crashed, right, it had that tablet in it, and then the Atlanteans are like, "It fell in our territory; it's ours," and they don't want to give it up. They don't want it because it's this ancient power that's older than Atlantis. And Superman's like, you probably should give it up. It's no good. And they're like, fuck you. You know, no one tells us
the tablet turns that guy into kaiju.
So I guess it's some primordial force, right? And it turns him into a kaiju. And in doing so, the guy like absolves the tablet when he turns into the giant monster. And so he turns into a giant monster, and then Superman's like, oh, I hear someone calling for help. And he goes and fights the kaiju, and his answer to killing it is to go inside of it and like blow it up from the inside. And when he goes in, the tablet talks to him and is like, we've been waiting for you. You were the key to all of this. And like, you see the symbols, and one of the symbols that's on the tablet is his sigil, is the S. And so Superman's like, oh, fuck. But this is just a dream. And then he snaps out of it and realizes it's an illusion, but it was basically talking to him and saying, like, you are the key to something bigger. You know, I think this is playing into the House of L, which we're going to get soon, which I'm about. So that's what happened there. I thought that was cool. I was like, ooh,
excuse me for being a DC noob, chat, but who the fuck is Steve Trevor?
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Anybody in chat want
to fill us in on that? But
anybody want to tell us who
Steve
that is?
Trevor dropping down from a helicopter, and everyone's like, "Steve Trevor, what are you doing here?" And he's like, Because I'm a badass. Like, I don't
Why are you a badass? We don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I thought it was really good, and also the artwork is still killing it in this book.
The artwork is phenomenal.
I'm really digging Action Comics, Superman Action Comics. I'm even digging it, and I'm not a big Aquaman fan, and I think he's great. Diana Man.
Oh yes. That's the guy that Captain Kirk plays in the movie, right? What's his name? Chris Pike or Chris
Pine.
Chris Pine.
Pine.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
So he's a badass in DC comic books, then, I guess.
No, I mean, he's Chris Pine, right? He's got to be badass.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, in the movie, he's just a pilot. That's all he is.
This is a great time for us to remind everyone in chat that the whole purpose of our channel is that we are noobs to comics, and we want to invite new and old comic readers to follow us on this journey as we figure out what the fuck is going on.
Give us your knowledge. Give it to me. Anyway, overall, I liked it. I will not be not pulling Action Comics anytime soon, and I'm really looking forward to House of L.
Okay. Yes, me too. I need to read those Future State issues. I think the trade's out or is about to come out. Also,
I can just borrow. You can borrow the books.
No, it's Philip Kennedy Johnson. I'll just buy it.
Literally saving you money.
I'm supporting a creator I like. So how about that?
Would you get to what you want to say?
I do. I want to say, Terrence, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Jim, will you add him to the list?
I was going to do that, but then you wanted to argue with me.
Also, Terrence says, I've put off DC for years. I need a good jumping on point. Well, we have a great suggestion because we are also new. We've put off DC for 32 years. So, for Batman, I can definitely tell you, jumping on at issue 84, when James Tynion takes over the book, absolute best time to jump on. This run has been great so far. I finally caught up on all the back issues, and now I'm back up to where we're at now at what, 110 or 112, or I can't remember.
109, so we're gonna get to 110, yeah.
Yes, so if you like Batman, 100% start there. If you like Superman, then I would say don't worry about the Superman that's going on right now, but Action Comics 10, what are we on, 1032? 1032, so whenever Philip Kennedy Johnson takes over would be okay point. This is all part of the Infinite Frontier area, or era. So, I would honestly say though, some of these, like, it depends on how much you want to get into it. Joshua Williamson's Flash that starts with Rebirth, I think, is where a lot of people would say to start with Flash. But that book just restarted as well, and we're reading it and not having a problem understanding it all. I can't remember the author. I can't remember the writer right now.
For who?
Flash? Yeah, I can't remember. Anyways, all of this is a long-winded way to say is find out when the Infinite Frontier era starts for whatever book you're interested in. Start there.
Yep.
That's the way to do it.
Calvin says about the guy at the end of the book that he's a badass in the movies too. LOL.
Oh, nice.
Jaden says what got me into DC was definitely reading Batman comics, and then he says, "Oh, you guys should definitely read Deceased. So good."
It is on my list. I feel like I want to get a little bit more continuity knowledge under my belt, but it's Tom Taylor, so you don't have to say more. I'm right there.
And
I'm totally about it.
Dark Ages for Marvel coming in
Marvel's
September.
version. You tell me it's Marvel's version of Deceased.
Super excited. All right. Speaking of Batman, we've got Batman Detective Comics 1038 Suit Up. I feel like this wasn't the strongest issue in the current run.
It wasn't.
From Tamaki.
It wasn't.
It was good, but it wasn't as good as when we first started reading it. But, it moves the plot point. We find out that Worth really is worth a lot of money, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants in Gotham. He can literally blow up a prison and go to jail for literally a minute and then walk out.
Yeah, and then just get right out.
This whole Clayface, I really want to know what's going on there. Like, I'm interested, but get to the point at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got this alien vampire insect sucking dude who teams up with Worth, so that's intriguing in this book. Huntress really did feel like a sidekick in this issue. She didn't feel like she kind of was a step behind Batman in this issue rather than kind of throwing her own weight around. Another neighbor potentially dies in this issue, so like you could definitely tell why people think Bruce is the murderer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but all in all, it was kind of like this middle, don't know where we're going, kind of slowing down a little bit issue. And then I didn't read the Penguin story, so did you read that?
I did read the Penguin story. It wasn't of too much consequence. I think it is going to kind of set up a little bit of what we're going to have going on. I think he is going to get put into the main book. Like, I think next issue he'll probably show up. He basically...
Tiny Onion's book?
No, I mean in the next issue of Detective.
I see.
He basically, at the very end, what does he say? He basically calls Worth and was like, there's this guy and he owes me something, and maybe I need to get involved. And he picks up his phone and he's calling Worth. So I think this was just like a little side story to kind of set up like, hey, why is Penguin getting involved here? And this kind of just shows how that happens.
Gotcha.
It is cool though, because you get Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown. Basically your two Batgirls right now. I think Spoiler and Batgirl, but they're in it a little bit too, which is nice. See some of the Bat family.
Jaden says he loves how Worth basically says Bruce Wayne is a completely different person. Yeah, like he has no clue whatsoever. I mean, again, it's a good issue. It just feels like
one of the weaker ones, though. I mean, it's just okay.
It didn't really move the plot much outside of the fact that Worth really can do whatever the hell he wants in Gotham. That's the main takeaway I took from this book. And then we do get a new but same artist from the last issue. I will say, I don't know. The artwork is a little iffy for me on this book. I mean, it's not bad. It's not
bad. But when you compare this to what's going on in Action Comics and in Batman, and in most of the Flash issues,
I feel like 1035, 1036, or at least 1036, the artwork was like, whoa, it was really good. Like it felt somewhat on par with Onion's run. And so, I hope we get, I know that we're doing this comic book 2 times a month instead of 1. So, I get that, but I want that artist back. I don't remember who it is, but I really need that back.
Yeah.
Let's go back into chat. Terrence says, I read Vertigo labels, but I put off the big 5 DC revolves around. Yeah, I get that. Jade says, I love how he said we saw that already. Well, I meant Batman. He literally sees Bruce as an entirely different person mentally. No, you're right. Yep, you're definitely right on that. But yeah, so that's Detective Comics.
I believe the artist you were referring to was Clayton Henry, by the way. He was
that dude. That dude was, I mean, nothing against the current artist. I'm just saying that one was really good. Like, it made me feel like it was an all-encompassing issue, and this one feels a little disconnected. So,
yep.
All right, that is Detective Comics. Next up, we have Justice League 63. We finally, in the last issue, we kind of jumped out of the reality of Naomi's universe. We find out how that happened in this issue. We find out that Naomi, at least in her home planet, kind of has a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of a temper. And I am speculating right now, but the bad guy that made his cameo appearance in 62, and now is kind of more fleshed out in this issue in 63, the guy with the smoke coming out of his mouth.
Oh yeah.
I am calling it now. That is Naomi's dad.
Oh really?
I think it's Naomi's dad. I think it's
interesting. I don't know anything about her back history in this last bit.
Nobody does. It's being flushed out as we read this issue. As we read,
because I feel like we get almost nothing from this.
What I'm trying to say is Bendis is flushing out Naomi's backstory in this issue in Justice League, and so
right.
I'm just calling it.
What, 6 issues in now, and I still feel like I haven't learned anything.
No. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm speculating that this new bad guy, the reason why her planet is what it is because of her dad. And I think that's her dad.
I got you.
In my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be totally off by that. And also this cover is definitely misleading.
I didn't understand that.
So, it says something like they're being Black Adam and Naomi accused. And that's not really what happens in this issue. It's more of, how they got off the planet, how Naomi actually saved everybody and fought off the main bad guy so that they could escape. But she loses her temper in that. She actually punches Superman because she wants to find out what happened to her homeworld. Yeah. And then when they get back, Superman goes and talks to Black Adam and is like, we really want you to be on the team. And he's like, And then, how do we say her name again? Wonder Woman's mom. Hippolyta. Mm-hmm. Essentially, confirms to Black Adam that he should be a part of the Justice League. And I think they also... It's looking like Superman's going to ask her, too, to be on the Justice League. Because you need a Wonder Woman. I really do. I think you need a Wonder Woman on the Justice League. And it would be cool for her to be there. Because she's such a badass. Like, when she showed up in the last issue with the fucking spear and the shield, I was like, damn, that's cool. But, they get back. Naomi wants to go back. She wants to learn more about her homeworld. And they're all kind of like, we'll help you do it, but not right now. Like, that's this issue in a nutshell. I enjoyed it, and I also like the fact that there wasn't any preteen talk from the bad guys. I am glad that didn't happen.
There you go. There you go.
But it was fun. I'm digging this Bendis Justice League run. I haven't really read a lot of Bendis' stuff, but I like it. Yes.
I agree with Kwaku here. He said, I think this is a good start to Bendis' league, but this art could have been done in less issues. And I totally agree with that assessment. I think it could have been done just a little bit less.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Just a little bit tighter. But that's what Bendis is known for. He's known for kind of dragging things out. So, whatever.
And I got you in the chat giveaway, Kwaku, so we're good there. She would stick to Young Justice. Gotcha. Naomi has a mini-series where they say the smoke guy killed her parents, but Bendis may have just planned for that to be the reveal. We'll see. Yeah, I see. I'm telling you. I think that's her dad. I think.
Did Bendis write her previous mini?
I believe he did.
Okay.
Because Naomi's his character.
Gotcha. So he's just a character making fool.
It's just they bring him in and they're like, make something.
Because didn't he also make
Miles Morales?
Miles, and he also made who did he made someone else in Marvel that's getting pretty big. Did he make Riri? Or
maybe
it doesn't matter. I'll just spitball on here.
That's what he does. They bring him in, and I read again. I'm going to bring this up, and it's not necessarily tied to this issue, but I remember reading. I think you may have highlighted it on our Twitter. Somebody went back and read all of Bendis' Superman run, and they were adamantly against it. And then when they read it in whole, they were like, "Holy shit, this is amazing." Mm-hmm. I haven't read it. I probably will when I get the Infinite app. But I just thought that was interesting that somebody went back and backtracked on their hate for Bendis' Superman. Because I remember when we first got in, I was, we'd watch Rocky or Rock and Robbie, and he'd be like, dude, Bendis' Superman's just not good. And now it seems like people are starting to flip it because they're reading the entire run. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Calvin says he also made Jessica Jones. And Quaker says he made Riri and Echo.
Who's going to be in the Hawkeye show.
Oh, Echo's going to be in the Hawkeye show?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Ah!
Yeah, dude.
I should have bought that book a year ago.
I don't know why you didn't. Anyway.
I should have bought every book a year ago. I would have been made, literally, any book I could have bought in a year ago, I would have
done it. Yeah, exactly. So that's Justice League 63. Again, they weren't accused. I don't know why Black Adam is in chains. He literally did nothing wrong. He saved everybody, if anything. We'll have to wait and see, but digging it.
You do wrong. I have to go to the bathroom.
Gotcha. So we got Harley Quinn, number 4. This is also a good issue. I think, I am not, again, we've talked about this. We're not big DC comic book readers. That's why we're getting into it. So my experience with Harley Quinn is fairly low. But I am enjoying this run. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it shows a lot of her personality. She's not pursuing this idea of being Batman's next Robin. I think she kind of realizes that in this issue too, where she kind of just becomes her own thing in this book. And I defend it every week. I know a lot of people don't like the artwork in this issue or in these Harley Quinn series, but I think they're great. I think there's definitely a logic to it, a flow to it, and I think it's really good. The issue opens up with Harley Quinn playing chess with Grundy. So in the previous issue, it looks like she was going to get her head knocked in by Grundy, but they actually are playing chess at the beginning of this issue. And, you know, Harley Quinn does what she does, and she works through a problem to realize that she's got to fix the situation that she's in with the current clowns that were manipulated into being in the Joker War. And so she's going to go save her friends from... Oh, what is his name? It's the doctor that knows Bruce Wayne's identity, Batman's identity. What's his name? Nope, it's gone. Anyway, he's like, you know, the new head of the new Arkham, essentially. And he's testing new drugs on old Joker gang members and trying to rid the city of clowns of Gotham. God, what is his name? I'm just going to open the issue. Maybe it'll be in there. Yeah, Patrick, the artwork on this, I dig it. It's like Hugo Strange. There it is. Appreciate it, Barry. So she's basically getting ready to break into the new, you know, Arkham, I forget what it's called, to save the friends. And she kind of, like, she takes on this persona as kind of like Batman. Like, she puts on a cape, but it's really like a blanket. Let me see if I can get my camera on so I can show you. She, like, has this monologue, like she's pretending to be Batman. And it's so fuzzy. I'm sorry, guys. I got to figure out how to focus this better. But basically, she's... she has this dialogue before she goes in to save her friends, and she, like, even the font is bold, like she's talking like Batman, like she's got like a Batman voice, and so it reads it goes, the human night air smells of the harbor underneath the concealed stench of rot. And she's like reading it, or she's saying it in her head like Batman, and then she gets halfway through the monologue and she's like, the fuck am I doing? I'm not Batman, I'm Harley Quinn. And so she breaks in. She's trying to save her pals, and before she basically gets to the facility where they're at, and when she she goes into this elevator, and right as she's about to get in to find her friends, Hugo is there waiting for her, going, "Oh, hey, Harley, I found you." And so now she really is in some shit. Like, the previous issue ended kind of like that with Grundy, but then we find out that they're just good friends and they play chess. Now Hugo has basically caught her. He didn't have to do a damn thing. He set the trap and she's there. So the issue ends with her getting caught by Hugo. I'm really digging this. I'm glad I'm reading this book. I wasn't going to, and then, you know, we both were like, you know what? Let's expand our horizons. Let's pick up some DC books, and I jumped into the Harley Quinn boat, and I'm not regretting it. It's a lot of fun. And Patrick, like you said, love the cover art for sure. Unique. The cover art is exactly like the inside art.
The cover's awesome.
Yeah, it's exactly like that inside the book. It's just, it's sloppy, but in an articulate way. Like, it's masterful. The colors are great. They're vibrant. The lines are awesome. The way the book works, just, you know, the pacing of it, it's all good. What?
I don't. Just, I know that you mean that well, but you said it's sloppy, and I was like, damn.
It is, though. Like, if you look, I just
don't know. Doesn't sloppy just have a natural negative connotation?
No, not necessarily. If you know, like, let's get into some.
I get what you're saying. No,
like, if you look at like some abstract shit, it's sloppy.
Okay, but see, you're making it worse because now you're talking about like Jackson Pollock, the biggest fake artist that's ever existed, who is not skilled at anything. He just goes, and then now it's art.
Now you're doing it.
No, I'm not. But see, you weren't trying to offend. I am trying to offend.
But anyway, it's a good book. You should pick it up. Whatever the fuck our words mean. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Back to chat, guys. At my LCS gave me issue 1. I should catch up. Yeah, yes, you should, Patrick. I highly recommend it. I've said that for all the DC books we've covered, and I mean it. I'm not just throwing shit up here and be like, "Hey, go buy it." What do I got to lose? I use the word loosely instead of sloppy. You know what? There you go, Calvin. That's perfect. It's loose. It's very loose.
There you go.
All right, but I like the word sloppy. I think there's meaning in that word.
I think there's something wrong with you for the reason why you like the word sloppy, though, and that's between you.
You're being dirty. I'm being artistic.
Robin, number 3.
Go ahead.
This is a good issue. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
All right, next. I'm kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. I thought there's a certain humor to this book that I really enjoy. This is my first exposure to Damien, so I'm still kind of trying to figure out if. I'm sorry, I'm getting thrown off. See,
yeah.
Sloppy Joes are disgusting and they're horrible.
Holy shit, Nate! Stop trying to light the earth on fire. Would you just talk about Robin? God damn it!
It's Patrick's fault. Okay.
Someone's gonna be like if this was like a campaign video, like if they were like if you ever run for president and they're like Nathan Crawford against Sloppy Joes, and then look back to this
Americans, Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, Damian Wayne. I still don't know if I like him yet, but let me rephrase that. I don't know if I really care about the like troubled youngster who has a hard facade, but then when he can finally open up to someone, you can see he's a human. I'm just like, man.
Careful with that word.
What, hard?
Hard
facade.
That's between you and your wife, okay?
Okay. But I did also find, so correct me if I'm wrong, this Hawk guy is Green Arrow's son?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that seemed apparent to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when they're talking about their dads, it like has the dads. So Batman
looks like Green Arrow. Yep.
Yeah. Reading this issue though makes me want to something like go back and like catch up on Damien's past in some kind of way, because I feel like for a character that's not super old, I think like he made his first canonical appearance in like 2006 or 2008 or something. I mean, I guess that's 15 years, but there's just, you know, he used to be a part of the League of Shadows and now he's not, and he's gone through all of this growth, yet he's still like this little kid. So I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about the plot. There wasn't a lot that happened. You know, Robin kind of goes to the party that they're having down on the beach, and everyone's like, yeah, why'd you bring this loser? And then he like sees a guy doing the knife between the finger thing, and he's just like, oh yeah, watch this, and just throws the knives in the air and puts his hand down. They all land perfectly between his hand at once.
Yep.
And then now everyone's like, oh, he's so cool. And
he knows party tricks.
He knows party tricks. Oh, I'm sorry. Patrick said, can you trust a man who doesn't trust Sloppy
I'm telling
Joe?
you, man, like you got so many hot takes that you're just gonna you're gonna get our show canceled because you don't like Sloppy Joes.
Yeah, I know. So Robin and Hawk, that's his name, right?
Sure. You're right, it's Hawk. It's Hawk.
Is it? Okay. They have a little heart to heart, and then they have a little fist to fist.
And then Hawk tries to kill Damien, throws him off a cliff on the behest of the League of Shadows, or whatever they're called.
I forgot about that part. Yeah. Sorry.
And then the big reveal at the end of the book is that Damien gets saved by Ra's al Ghul. Apparently, he's been missing, and so he's back, and now he's going to get trained by his grandfather. That's this book in a nutshell.
I like the art in this book, and I like the writing. So, and I like learning this side of the continuity. So.
No, I agree. And this is another one of those, I'm glad I'm picking it up. It doesn't feel like, you know, I don't want to say it's a chore to read because it's not. But when I get to these books, I'm not like, now I got to read Robin. I'm like, ooh, I want to know I want to continue the plot. Now we do have some books, and we'll get into our honorable mentions where it's just like, whew, that was rough. But the books that we're talking about on this main part of the show, not at all. And I'm digging Robin.
See, and Patrick and Jaden are talking about, like Patrick said, I think this will grow Damien up a little bit, or at least mellow him out. And then Jaden says, I feel like he's had so many chances. And see, that's the thing I'm worried about. Or that's the thing that I'm really leery. It's like the young kid who's a punk ass, then he gets a chance at redemption, and right before he does it, he stops and goes back. And then we do it again. And then we do... I am super not interested in that. So, because this is my first Damien story, Damien-centric story, I'll give him the chance, in this one. But if we do that again... I'm just not interested in that. I'm not interested in that at all.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to get into our last DC book here in 2 seconds. But before I do, this is a good, nice stoppage area to remind everyone that if you're in chat or you're watching this live, we're giving away this CGC 9.8 Batman Who Laughs Dark Knight Metal tie-in tonight. Anyone that's in chat, that talks in chat, will be put into our little spin wheel names. And we will be giving away this book tonight. So if you're watching right now and you haven't chatted, just say hi. Or contribute to the conversation we're having online. Call Nathan a jackass for not liking Sloppy Joes. Whatever you want to do. Or things that Jackson Pollitt isn't like a legit artist. Just say it in chat. Just give it us in chat, and you'll be answered in. Anyway, our last DC book of the night is Infinite Frontier number 1.
Before we start, I want to answer Calvin's question. He said, I know you guys didn't read DC comics, but did you follow any of the shows or movies? No.
Go ahead.
You might have. No, I was gonna say I recently started Green Arrow, like a month ago. And I'm almost through season 2. So once I get past that, I'll try to find a watch order and try my best to watch them in the correct order. But no, other than that, I literally have not seen any of the new. I've seen the Christopher Nolan Batmans, but I haven't seen any of the new Batman, any of the new Superman. Haven't seen the Snyder cut. Haven't seen any of that. So.
Okay, so for me, never watched any of the shows. Used to watch Justice League the cartoon as a kid. Watched Super Friends as a kid. Watched all the Batman movies, all the Christopher Nolan and the current ones. Seen Justice League, the Snyder cut. And I will say this. I'll be absolutely honest with you because I know some people don't like that or some people do. I had been on the fence to do DC, but we were just kind of like, I don't know. And then, Ron was like, let me help you out. And so the thing that really, really got me to go like, you know what? I really want to get into it because it just felt like the comics, even though I hadn't read DC comics. I will say, and I could be in the minority here and I might piss some people off here. Okay. The Snyder cut for me, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's read some DC books because it felt like Snyder wanted to stay true to source material, and he may not have. I'm not a DC comic book reader, so I'm some DC like real loyalists may have watched that movie and gone, what the fuck? But for me, the Snyder cut of Justice League, I was like, I want to know more. I want to know about Darkseid. I want to know more about this whole multiverse thing. I want to know more. I had basic understandings like, Superman dying by Doomsday and having the black suit, all that jazz. I get it. But that movie for me, and we were just getting into DC Comics, that for me was like the final nail in the coffin of like, I really want to get into DC because it feels like there's just so much cool shit here and I am missing out. I'm missing out on it. So that's my take on it. Infinite Frontier, clearly Williamson is moving us in a direction to another crisis event, and we get that in this book. There's a lot going on in this book, and originally this was going to be in our honorable mentions, and I think it's because we just don't know a lot of these characters, and I'll be absolutely honest in that. That being said, I definitely enjoyed this book though. Like I thought it was a lot of fun. It makes me want to know more. Is this a new character or is this someone from the past? And I think that's the coolest thing about it is for me personally, I read this and go, well shit, now I need to go read X, Y, and Z to really understand this book better because I really enjoyed it and I don't know what the fuck's going on. I think the coolest thing about Infinite Frontier for me, outside of like a Batman escaping his reality and then coming to this new patrol that's patrolling the multiverse, I thought that was kind of cool, was literally the end. And, you know, we've been dealing with is it Wally? Yeah, Wally West as Flash. And then we get a little bit of Barry Allen in this because he's got his new role with this watch, right? And then we get a character that me and you both have very, if not any knowledge about, which is, I forget his name, but it's Green Arrow's sidekick, Speedy. So Speedy has been dead. He died. I believe Barry Allen killed him at that resort, like that.
Heroes in Crisis or something like that. James was telling us about it.
Yeah. So he died there, right? And it was at the hands of Wally West. I think he blew up with the Speed Force or something like that. And so at the end of Dark Knight, Death Metal, he comes back, I think as a zombie, but I'm not sure. I can't remember if he actually gets fully fleshed out to be a human at the end of that event. He may, because everything got reset. So at the end of the book, he is alive, and he's at like a diner. And I can't remember. You're gonna have to remind me, Nate, because I read this at the beginning of the week. They get attacked by somebody, right? Or is it just it's somebody that's basically refusing to believe that there's a multiverse, right?
Yeah, sure.
Something like that.
He gets attacked by somebody. Me remembering who it is not going to matter because it doesn't. I don't know who any of these people are, so I'm not going to remember.
So Jaden says they did Speedy wrong, and I agree. Like apparently he didn't get his due. Anyway, so he's alive in this issue. The entire multiverse that they're in this book, you know, everybody is like the public is aware of a multiverse in this Infinite Frontier book. And so people are debating, like, is it real? Is it not? And some people are like, it's totally real. We're all special. And then there's like the boomers of the generation in the book that are like, fuck the multiverse. That's not real. Y'all are just smoking weed. Stop being silly. And so at one point, this like they're at a diner and these people are talking, and they're talking about it. And the diner owner gets pissed to the point where he like threatens to kick them out. And so Speedy like goes to talk to them and goes, listen, man, you need to chill out. This is not something you need to be getting upset about. And the dude attacks him.
Yeah.
And when he attacks him, this like a flash happens, something happens, and the last page is no. I'm wrong. I'm off. Somebody shows up at the diner who is like, I don't know who it is, and I don't think we're supposed to know who it is, but somebody shows up to basically arrest Speedy. Like, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be alive. You're wrong. You're not supposed to be in this timeline. Basically, like the TVA of the DC Infinite Frontier storyline. And so they go to arrest him, and some flash happens, and then you see the main guy that's going to arrest him get punched by a giant fist. Boom! And he flies out the diner, and then like all the other cops get hit and are attacked by some like mysterious black figure. The final page is Speedy transforming into the newest Black Lantern.
Is that what that is?
Yes, and all of the projections he's made are versions of himself that have died within the multiverse. That's what it was.
How do you know that?
That's why I wanted to talk about this book, because I remember reading about the Black Lanterns, and when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. And then those are all different versions of Speedy, like, you know, when he was a zombie, when he was a younger kid, like different variations of him.
None of these look like zombies.
Okay, I could be wrong on that. But what I'm saying is those are different versions of Speedy.
They all look like dweebs, if I'm being honest.
Don't say that, dude. Jaden's gonna...
Sorry.
God. Anyway, so our new Black Lantern in this multiverse is Speedy. That's why I wanted to talk about it and not put it in honorable mentions, because that's huge. I know that's huge amongst DC fans, and a lot of people are talking in chat. So let's get back to chat, because I'm sure they're like telling us what we're getting wrong and right. Let's see, where do I start? Shit.
They're mainly talking to themselves. So I don't know.
As Cameron says, Speedy, they did him wrong. I haven't read his story in a long time. We have time. Does he have an Armageddon? I think so. Yep. He does in this book. Yes,
his daughter may be alive.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
He had a daughter.
Really? The fact that the guy continues to doubt the multiverse is afterwards. Yeah, like he's like, it doesn't exist, and then all this shit goes down. You should totally read Blackest Night. I did read Blackest Night, and that's why I knew that was a Black Lantern at the end of the book. I get why you didn't understand that.
I'm almost there, so I'm reading Johns' run, and I just finished Sinestro Core War. So
Jaden says, "How dare you?" from saying he looks like a dweeb.
I'm sorry.
And then when Psycho Pirate says to him and Barry are going to be on the same side, do you think Barry will get turned into a dark side and be a villain? I don't know. When I read that, I'm assuming that Psycho Pirate is fighting for Darkseid. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, Barry Allen might be a bad guy in this book.
Is Jeff Johns going to allow that to happen? Barry Allen be a bad guy?
Well, I mean, Flash is not in the Flash book right now, so...
What?
Isn't Jeff Johns writing Flash right now?
No.
Oh, I don't know. You saying names that I don't know.
Jeff Johns is the guy that brought Barry Allen back from the dead, and everyone was all poo-pooed about it because everyone's like, Wally West is the Flash. We don't give a fuck about this Barry Allen guy. And then apparently there was some behind-the-scenes DC stuff where they wanted to make Barry Allen a bad guy or do away with him or do something, and Jeff Johns was like, executive blah 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 at DC, and he was like, no, Barry Allen's my favorite.
Let me ask this question. Who was the original Flash?
Barry Allen. Well, no, Jake Herring or whatever.
Okay,
Jake, the guy from like the Golden Age.
Okay, so Golden Age. So okay, but then who's like Silver Age?
Silver Age is Barry Allen all the way up to Crisis, and then he dies in Crisis.
Okay.
Well, and Wally and Barry are together for a while. I think Wally West is introduced in like 59 or something. He's like Kid Flash for like 30 years or some shit. And then when Barry Allen dies in Crisis, he becomes regular Flash. And then he's the Flash from like 86 to like 2005 or something. I don't know. I'm trying my best here. I know very little, but yes, Jay Garrick. I knew if I just mumbled words that sounded close enough to that you would understand what I'm saying.
That being said, I like this Infinite Frontier story better than Issue 0. Issue 0 really pissed me off, but that was more of that they just kind of wiped clean Death Metal. Like, it was just like, that didn't really matter.
It didn't wipe it clean. That's the whole, like...
I know, but it's just like Wonder Woman left because she was trying to save the entire multiverse, and now she's in Valhalla. Give me a fucking break. Like, she's supposed to be off.
She refused to be a god.
No, it's because someone. No, it's because someone in the DC office was like, "You can't have DC Comics without Wonder Woman." That's what it was.
Well, that's probably true, especially when they're trying to get a movie franchise going.
Well, in the last... Okay, we're deviating because I'm about to say something stupid. All right. Anyway, Infinite Frontier, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the, as much limited knowledge that I had when I read that last page was like, oh shit, that's dope. Because I do like the Blackest Night. I did read that, and I thought that was freaking awesome. So when that happened, and it wasn't zombies that he was projecting, it was like past versions of himself. I was like, dude, that's fucking cool because he was dead and now he's not, but then he kind of is, but he's not. So thought that was cool. Anyway, next up, we're jumping into our independent books.
Let's do it.
And we're going to kick it off with Undiscovered Country number 13. Nate, tell us about it.
Finally. I think the last issue we got was March. They went on a little planned hiatus.
Ever.
Yeah, it was a planned hiatus. They said they were going to do it. You know why? It was because they were finishing the first draft of the script for the movie that Paramount bought the rights to this before the issue 1 came out, and then hired Snyder and Sewell to write it before issue 1 came out. So they took that break to finish it. So technically, it hasn't been like ordered for actual production yet, but the script has been made.
And you have issue 1?
I do. I have 3 versions. I have cover A, B, and C.
Okay.
Yeah, I jumped on this at the very beginning. Yes, so we are starting a new arc, and we're also getting into a new section of the country. The most brief catch-up reminder, if you have not been following along or aren't reading this book, Undiscovered Country is basically a dystopian future where America has completely shuttered its walls. You literally cannot get in or out of the country. And now outside of the U.S., a virus, a plague, is ravaging the world. This was written before COVID, by the way. And a secret team of 6 people are basically contacted by the United States and invited into the United States to come get a possible cure to take back to the rest of the world. The book is their adventures inside America. What has happened in America is way more fucked than you could possibly think. Something has happened, we don't know why exactly, but there's been a massive amount of time dilation in the United States. So while it's been, I think, like 50 years outside of the country, it's been like almost 1,000 years inside America. It's been like just an absolutely ungodly amount of time inside America.
Interesting.
America is now broken up into different sections. The previous one we were in was called Unity, where basically the entire section is people having their minds downloaded into a computer and they're all part of one collective. This one is called Possibility. So Possibility is, and each section, by the way, was in charge of contributing something specific to the country. So Unity was there to provide technology. Possibility is there to give the arts, to give books and music and paintings and pictures and all that. That's what this section was for. So they get here, and basically what they're supposed to do is beat each section in order to get to Aurora, I think is what the center is called, where that's where they're trying to get. And in this one, Uncle Sam tells them that they're going to have to come up with an American masterpiece, because that's what this section is for, American masterpieces. And as we're going through, not only do we get some pretty cool snippets of, what is her name? Cassandra, I believe. The one that has the drone. We find out some of her backstory from...
Nothing. I messed up.
We find out some of her backstory from Brazil, and we actually see what is happening to her during some type of crisis when she's a little kid. But the main story is that, Sam is telling them they're going to have to make this American epic, this American masterpiece of some kind, whether it's music or a movie or something. But before they can really get settled, they get attacked by a ship that's all in black and white. And it's like like an old steam engine ship. Steampunk? And even the people, no, not steampunk, like literally like a 1890s like steam,
gotcha.
Ship. And it's like old gangsters on there with like Tommy guns. They're like, hey, you see here, like we're gonna shoot you down. And it's really, it turns out that this entire area is populated with discarded cultural treasures of the United States.
Got it.
And so, that's pretty much the majority of and we also get revealed that Chang, who was infected by the virus in the previous arc, now has the abilities to cybernetically alter his hands, or at least his hands so far. And when they're attacked by the pirates, he grows his fingernails out, kind of like that one chick in X-Corp, and slashes at people. And everyone's like, Chang, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know. I got these weird cybernetic hands now.
Man, it sounds like you're describing a fever dream. This is intense.
That is the perfect way to describe this book. That's how it's been so far. But that's it in a nutshell, except Cassandra gets knocked off the boat, during the whole melee, and washes up on shore on one of the islands. This whole sector is made up of a bunch of islands. And when she washes up on shore, she looks up and she sees the superhero of the TV show that she's been reading in her flashbacks, or watching in her flashbacks. But that superhero is actually here. He's like a real person. And there's a whole team of superheroes there. His name's Captain Flag, and he's like, don't worry, we're here to save the day. It was a good issue to get back in. It wasn't super great. We didn't get a ton of development. I do think, like JD Barry says, this is going to be a great zone. Like, I really think Sewell and Snyder are going to be able to, I don't know, kind of flex their creative wings here. Just to kind of like, this whole book is sort of like an ode to the good of America and sort of a shun to the bad. And so I think this section, they could do a lot of good with it. Like a lot of, putting up a lot of the good things about Americana.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to it. We also get a lot of fun. One thing that they've done from the very beginning is like Hickman style data pages in the back. They always give you like maybe like a historical chart of the way of what happened like right when America shut down. And it's really cool. Like at this point they tell you that the Boston Celtics were actually outside of the United States doing a like exhibition game in South Korea. And so they were never able to make it back to the United States because the United States was not allowing any Americans that weren't in the country come back. So the Boston Celtics were never able to make it back to the United States.
That sucks.
Yes. Also, they literally write on an entire page every single issue. Like, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on in our lives. This is our inspiration for this arc. This is what we're thinking. This is blah. I don't know. This book feels super personal. Like, I don't know. They're literally writing you letters at every single issue. I think it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So I'm very glad for this back. Oh, also there's always sketches of new characters in the back as well, letting you know what Hamankulo is the artist's name, kind of what he's doing and what he's got going on. Just sketches of people. Anyway,
that's cool.
I'm very glad to have this series back. This was like one of the very first independent books I picked up. We're only on issue 13, but issue 1 came out in like January 2020 or even earlier than that. So it's
crazy to think how far, like, it's just insane, like how far we've come, like from when we first started reading to like where we're at now, and like what we were picking up, and like oh man, have you heard of Cosmic Ghost Rider? Have you heard of Undiscovered Country? It's crazy. Anyway, cool. All right. Next up, our other Image. Well, we have other Image books, but in the main part of our show is Vinyl #1. Dude, weird ass book. Weird fucking book. No context whatsoever in this book. It's not a bad thing, but fuck, it is. I don't know how to explain this book outside of it's weird in a good way. It's psychedelic, kind of, in a way, because there's just a lot of unexplained things in this book. Nate, I think you would enjoy it. From what I can understand, the guy on the cover he's got a split personality where he's like a total nerd for music and vinyl, and he's a serial killer. That's what I can take from the book.
Okay.
I really don't know much out of that, how I can explain it outside of he's got this agent that he's working with. The book is cut up into 2 different parts. There's the present and then like 2 weeks ago, kind of flashbacks. And so the book starts with 2 weeks ago, where this guy that he's with, the main character here, is being attacked by, and now you're going to be like, I'm not interested, but it appears to be a zombie who is about to kill this detective with an axe. And he's telling the guy on the front cover to put on the mask. Just put on the mask and take care of this problem. And the guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm scared. I don't want to do this. And right as this zombie is about to hatchet the detective, our main character puts on this mask that looks like a teddy bear. And he kills the zombie. Then it cuts to present, and we've got our detective talking to somebody in a van saying, don't fuck this up. You got to get him to basically confess to this crime. This dude shows up. The detective gives him a new record, says, does this record remind you of anything? And he's like, yeah, I know this song, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, that's a coincidence, because somebody was murdered to this exact song that was playing at this house. Do you know anything about that? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. This is a really good song. And then in the middle of them talking, this like group of people show up to basically abduct the detective. And the detective's like, oh shit, stuff's about to hit the fan. The old guy doesn't know who these people are, but he's like, don't touch my friend. And they're like, no, he's coming with us. And the friend, this guy on the cover, you can start seeing a little bit of a change. Kind of like, you don't want to do that. Do not abduct my friend. Well, they do it anyway. So, again, the book is very chopped up. So my description of it is very wonky and all over the place, because that's how the book is. When we cut back to the friend being abducted, the detective, the friend goes and finds where he's being taken to. It's like this like cult with like all these young ladies like being groomed to be wives. It's really weird. And he, this guy on the cover goes and talks to the main like lady and is like, hey, can you release my friend? You don't want to do this. And she's like, no, he's our property now. Fuck off. And he goes, well, tried to warn you. And he leaves. So night happens. The compound loses power. And this guy shows up. But he shows up with the teddy bear mask on. And we see security footage. So they're locking down the house because the power goes out. They show the security footage. And the guys are like, hurry up, lock it up. And behind them is this dude with a knife, like a machete. Behind the guy that's like, hurry up. The next shot is his innards like hitting all the floor. The next shot, the guys turn around and go, what was that? And the guy is already behind them. So he like sped up time and showed up behind him. He kills them, cuts their arms off. Real fucking sick. And then the book ends basically with him getting into the compound. He takes his mask off and you see his eyes. And he's like looking inside to the camera and he goes, he says the name of the main leader and goes, I tried to warn you, with like a grin on his face. And that's how the issue ends. It is all over the fucking place. But when I saw that, like when you see him kill somebody and then he literally flashes to the other side of the room without you seeing him move, I was like, uh-oh, there's some weird shit going on in this book. I did not know what to expect from this book, but it's really fun, and it's also really gross.
I'm surprised that you picked this one up because of that.
It wasn't as off-putting as some of the other books you've picked up where that shit happens. I mean, it's there, but it's not like, oh, I'm taking this person's intestines and sprawling it across a room into different hallways. Like that doesn't happen. But there are people that are like, oh god, like that's definitely prominent in this book. I will be picking up the next issue. I really dig it. It's weird as fuck, and I want to know why this guy is like a superhero serial killer. It's interesting. I'll let you borrow the first issue. I think you should read it. The only off-putting but also cool thing about it is I just don't know what the fuck is going on in this book, but I definitely want to keep reading it. So
gotcha.
That's vinyl number 1. Let's get back to chat. Patrick says that sounds interesting. Sounds like the guy looks like the guy from Dexter. He looks like older. Reminds me of The Mask. Yeah, it's a weird book, but I'm definitely digging it. I'm glad I picked it up. All right, our last book of the night before honorable mentions, and that is... Oh, no, I'm sorry. We got 2 more books. I'm off. We got Something is Killing the Children, number 17 from Boom Studios.
Yes, and this honestly was super, super close to being my pick of the week. But I thought, you know what? Let's just let someone else win it for once, right?
Okay, all right.
So we're continuing on our origin story for Erica Slaughter. Really getting a lot of world building here for the actual House of Slaughter. So we find out that the house is broken up into different groups. So like the color of your mask helps signify what group you're in. So that's why we've seen different colors. We've seen a red, we've seen a black, we've seen blue and white. I think those are the four that we've seen. And we find out that the particular house that Erica gets brought into is literally just currently made up of 4 people. It is made up of the 3 people that we have here on our cover: Erica, the little girl, whatever the hell dude's name is, I can't remember. The main chick that saves Erica, and Adeline. And Adeline is this like super creepy old woman who's just like sitting in a wheelchair by a window, and she like turns her around and she's like, "Adeline, say hi to Erica," and she's like and she like doesn't move, doesn't say anything, and then like tears just start coming out. It's actually really creepy. And literally she's like, yeah, the blonde woman's like, yeah, she's seen some shit, so don't worry about her. It's kind of like but then honestly the majority of this issue is like a build up for what is going to happen to Erica. So in order for anyone to get into the house, you have to be tested, and it's supposed to be this whole thing where you're vetted, and they determine if they even think you should go through the test or not. But basically what it seems is they put you in a room or a particular place where they are going to initiate basically you to be scared and see if you can control your fear enough not to allow the monster to become real. Because, you know, it's really your belief in it is what makes it real, right? Like, that was the whole thing about how the monsters were manifested to begin with. And so literally it seems like Erica is going to get put into a room and told, hey, you know, or, you know, from however way, through images or sounds or some type of manipulation, to think that a monster in there is real. And the only way to survive is to gain control of her fear enough that the monster doesn't really manifest. Because if it does, then it becomes real, and then it's just going to kill her.
Do you think, I know you're midway through it, but do you think that we're going to get like a cross, like, meta between 2 books, like Something's Killing Children and Department of Truth?
No.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. No.
I mean, I know they're 2 different publishers, but I mean, it just feels like it's almost the same book.
No, I think one is dealing like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like
the manifestation part, I'm just saying.
Manifestation thing. I think that's just a theme that Tinian has.
Just likes a lot.
It's just a theme that he likes. It's
as
like
long as it doesn't show up
it's like Donny
Nice
Cates
House.
and Dad Problems.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will show up in Nice House. It's literally, it's like Donny Cates and dad issues. I don't think Donny Cates has written a single book that didn't have to do with daddy issues. Like, not a single one. Like, not a single story that he has ever written that has more than one issue that doesn't deal with daddy issues.
So Tiny Onion's like Afraid of the Dark.
No, I think that he believes in the power of imagination and perception of reality, and how much does perception affect reality.
Got it. Okay.
Anyway, that is the gist of this story. They really do put a lot of weight on, like, you know, how big it is, whatever this thing is that she's going to go through, like how big of a deal it is. So I hope, I'm sure it will be, but I hope the build up is worth, you know, we have a payoff, because it seems like, you know, I can't remember this boy's name, but Erica and him have never gotten along. Even when he showed up, you know, as they're adults later on, they still obviously seem sort of like but in this issue, he's like, yeah, I'm sorry I've been kind of a dick to you, but like, let me give you some advice for tomorrow. Cause
is his name Aaron?
Aaron, yes, thank you.
Well, I got it in the chat.
Yes, Quaku, thank you. Also, seeing Erica and Aaron become friends is sad, knowing how going, to Archer Peak ends up for him. Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of situational irony, like reading this, knowing what happens with him, and it makes the story a lot more sad. This issue is not scary, but this issue is just like kind of like heavy, just heavy. But anyway, exactly, Patrick. Thank you. Okay, so that's Something Is Killing Children, number 17. Before we move on, Patrick says that's why Donny Cates is going to Hulk is because of his daddy issues.
Makes total sense.
It makes total sense. That's literally what's been driving that right now too. So
there you go. All
right,
right,
Youngin killing it once again.
Hell yeah, he is. Dude. Yeah, I can't wait to meet him someday. Now our last book, Nuclear Family from Aftershock. I didn't get to read this one.
It was the radio.
I kind of figured, it was the radio. So, the first issue, bomb's about to fall. They all jump in their bunker, and before they go in the bunker, their ham radio is like, and so apparently that like jolted them into the future. Is that what we're getting at here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so then they escape and go back home, and the radio goes berserk, and they get back home. Is that?
Yep. So the way the last issue ended was the boy that lives there was taking them to his room so they could get away. Roger, I think is his name.
Yeah.
And the mayor was in there waiting for him, and the dad is like, "Listen, I'm telling you, like, I'm not a bad guy, and this is not. We're from the future, and what the hell?" And the mayor's like, "Yes, I know, I believe you." That guy reminds me of a young. What's his name? What's the minority speaker right now?
Chuck Schumer?
No, the minority.
Oh,
the
minority. I'm sorry. Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. He reminds me of young Mitch McConnell, so I hate him just because of that. But he's like, I believe you, and we're going back to your house.
You could have just said he looks like a turtle, and you didn't have to bring that up.
You're right. That's true too. He looks like a turtle. And so he's like, I've devised a way for us to get back to your house. You're going to have to figure out how to fucking get us back. He goes, because if I can go back with you guys, then I can stop this from happening. Mm-hmm. So that's what they do. They devise a way for them to get out. They get out into the wasteland again. They meet the mayor out there with a truck. They almost get attacked by zombies, but luckily they make it into the house just in time. But before they can get down to the basement, the zombies overtake the house, and so Roger stays behind, sacrifices himself so that they can get down there. They get down there, the dad messes with the radio, and then boom, they're back to their normal time. And that's it. And also, for some reason, the mayor is not with them. And I don't understand why. Like, literally, I tried for like 10 minutes to figure out what was going on. Like, he's down there with them, the mayor is, and he says, oh god, we don't have time, and they hit a zombie, and they go down there, and the dad has a flashback really quick, and he said, and then that during the flashback, obviously you're not going to see him, right? Like you're not, and so then it cuts back to him messing with it, and them going up to the top of the steps into the house, and everything's back to normal. And then the wife says, was that real? What happened with the governor? And he's like, well, I don't know, but he's not here anymore. And then the final panel is the governor's glasses sitting on the ground.
Oh, no.
What does that mean? What fucking happened to him?
Nuclear Family 2. Coming this fall.
I will not be picking it up.
It
was honestly a disappointing conclusion for sure. This book had so much promise in issue 1. It started up here. I was like, no. I'm saying it started up here with issue 1. I was like, yeah, this series is gonna be great. And then issue 2 is right here. And then issue 3 was like here. And then issue 4 was like, no.
Okay, all right.
So,
well, we had to give it a shot.
Family.
We were trying to diversify, and we still are, but some of them not all of them can be winners. Okay, not all of them can be winners. So
That's true.
all right. So that is the end of our main pool. Now we're going to jump into honorable mentions. Before I jump into that, I want to remind everybody once more, right before we do it, we're going to do honorable mentions, and then we're going to do our giveaway. If you're in the channel right now watching live and you haven't said anything in chat, just say hi, and you're entered to win the CGC 9.8 Batman Who Laughs #1 Dark Knight tie-in. Almost said, I did say metal, but anyway, you can win this tonight. We're giving it away tonight. Just say something in chat if you're here. Everybody else that has, you're already entered. So, Nikki, I got you. We have 13 people currently entered to win this slab tonight. So we're going to do our honorable mentions, and then we'll get on to the giveaway. So let's just kick it into high gear really quick. We're going to go fast and furious. First up, we've got Marvel Voices Pride #1. I really enjoyed this issue.
I got the America Chavez variant.
Oh, sick, dude. I enjoyed this issue. I had the same issue I had with the DC one. I just don't know enough about some of the characters in here. There were some stories, though, I really did enjoy in this book. I think the one I liked the most was the Tatiana and She-Hulk story, where she mistaken somebody at a cosplay as She-Hulk, and she tries to fight him, and it's a transgender individual who feels, like they want to... they feel more comfortable as, dressing up in cosplay. And so you've got somebody who wants to be She-Hulk, and they end up fighting, and she's like, why are you fighting me? I'm not the real She-Hulk. And when I read the story, I originally, I was flipping through, trying to see what stories I wanted to read first. And when I got to that one, I was like, why does She-Hulk look so puny? She doesn't, she looks smaller than Tatiana, and they're the same size, if not she's a little bigger. And so I was like, what's going on here? So when I read it, it was actually somebody dressing up as the She-Hulk, who is naturally muscular. And so they were just cosplaying as that. I thought that was a really fun story. And then also we get a new character, a new mutant in this book. Who we'll see soon in 2022 on Krakoa. So no, I enjoyed it, but again, I just didn't know enough about some of the characters, so I couldn't read it knowing I was really enjoying it, because I don't know a lot of these characters.
They also put they reprinted the Alpha Flight issue where North Star comes out, which I thought was really cool to have that in the back. And also just to juxtapose how terrible some 90s art was compared to the art that we're getting now. It was just all scratchy lines and big muscles.
The other story that's really cool here is the Iceman story, where Iceman and Angel are kind of dating but in secret, and then Angel is he's, I don't know how do you describe him, but he's kind of in the moment in this issue, or at least in his story, where he's having a fling with Iceman, but then he goes and dates somebody else. And so you see Iceman kind of vulnerable and he's a teenager in this story, or a young teen. I don't know how you would describe him. But then Magneto catches him crying on the steps of the X Mansion, and Magneto's about to attack it with missiles, and then he's like, "Oh, there's a mutant crying," so he dismantles the missiles and goes and talks to Iceman and is like, "Are you okay?" And kind of tells him I may be Xavier's enemy, but I'm never gonna harm a mutant. And so they kind of have they have this really close bondness, a close moment, and then Iceman becomes he's happy, and then the one thing that he asks Magneto, not gee, what did you go through in your life that would harden you to be such a bad person? He's like, can I wear your helmet? And so the issue ends with Magneto giving this massive awesome speech to Iceman, and he's just sitting there with his helmet on going oh, this is fucking cool. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was cool. What do you got next? I want to kind of go back and forth.
I have Blue Flame #2. This is the Christopher Cantwell Vault book. Guy that's writing Iron Man right now. We get a little bit more explanation of what's going on here. We've got the two different stories. We've got this main character as a vigilante cosplayer kind of a thing on Earth, and there's a big mass shooting, and he's the only one that survives from the vigilante group. And basically get introduced to like his sister, and like his sister's gonna be the one that is gonna take care of him and bring him back to health. Then we also get the other side of the picture, which is him as this big cosmic superhero, and he's gonna have to stand trial for all of humanity. And he basically, the prosecutor walks him around and kind of gives him examples of why Earth is on trial. He shows him examples of different planets and stuff like that. And then it turns out that the guy that's prosecuting him was actually in his same shoes. He was in charge of defending his species and failed. And so he's literally the last living person of his own species. However, we're moving on. We're moving at a pretty slow pace here. And I'm like it enough that I'm going to give it, 5-6 issues, whatever the first arc is.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to get any sort of commitment past that for me. So
I was gonna say, are you gonna continue on, or is it gonna flame out?
We'll see. We'll see. The art's really good on this book too, and I like that. So
He's got jokes.
We'll see.
After that, we've got Gamma Flight number 1. Meh. It was okay. It wasn't. It was okay. I if this was an ongoing series, I'd probably stop here. But it's a 1 in 5 miniseries, so I'll continue to pick it up. But overall, if you're into, I will say this: Ewing is setting up for gamma mutants to be much more prevalent in the Marvel universe. I think that's the biggest thing out of this book that we see is like we're gonna get more gamma mutants after his Immortal Hulk run ends. That's where we're going with that. Then we got Teen Titan Academy number 4. Ooh, I don't know. This is I'm starting to wobble a little bit on this. I might jump off. This might be the first DC book that I cut. I'm gonna give it 2 more issues. The saving grace is Red X, and he's literally at the back end of this book. But this one was a hard one to read.
I didn't make it past issue 1 on that one.
Right. After that, I've got from Image, I've got Spawn Universe number 1. This was a fun book, but I have no context. I don't know what the hell's going on. I have a base knowledge of Spawn, so I couldn't give it a rightful review because McFarlane references so many books in the current Spawn run that I can't give it a fair review. That being said, it's a lot of fun. I will say I've never really read a McFarlane book, and so the way he describes things, really, like, it's heavy. Like, I don't know if that's how they do it in other Spawn books, but like he literally explains what art panels do. Like when you read a comic and you read something that doesn't have any copy in it, you're like, okay, I'll read it and I see the action. The action does it for me. In this book, McFarlane literally writes out it's like he took the storyboard and put it into the copy. And so you're reading what you're actually seeing. Does that make sense? Like, Spawn pulls out a gun and he shoots the bad guy. And you read that. And then you see it. So that was a little distracting. I don't know if that's just his writing style, but that's my only main critique of the book. It's a lot of fun, and I will continue this Spawn universe thing, I think, because I know Donnie's about to jump on it. He's one of the writers that's going to be on the book. So I do want to be in the know there. But I just don't have enough knowledge on Spawn to give a decent and fair review on that. I'm sure a lot of people have read it that are big Spawn fans, and they probably loved it. But I just, it's got to be in my honorable mentions because I just can't. I don't know what the fuck's going on in the book.
Yeah.
So. And then, do you have another one after that?
Yeah, I have Superman 32.
That's right.
This is the final issue of Philip Kennedy Johnson's 3-issue run on the series. You can definitely tell that this is really much just like a wrap up. That he was just like, well, okay, we got to figure it out. The story of the alien planet being taken over by the parasite is literally, the previous issue we saw Superman get swallowed by it, and in this one John fights it for a while, and then Superman busts out of it, like splits it in half by bursting out of it, and he says there's only this particular type of light that will affect it, and I can't do that. It's like between X-ray and ultraviolet light, and I can't do that in my eyeballs, John, but you can. And so John shoots him, and he's like, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. And then eventually he like powers up in this big giant blue light, and he shoots it and kills the thing, like vaporizes it basically. So I guess John gets a new power set in this issue, which is interesting. Weird, like a weird different light. But the issue really just kind of ends with the way it begins, an homage to a father-son relationship, and how, you know, people look at Clark as the definition of Superman and what Superman is, and Clark's basically just saying, like, you may compare me against other people with Superman. He goes, but when I look at Superman, you're the Superman that I strive to be.
Oh,
yeah, it's real cutesy, nice little father-son thing. Oh no, I mean that literally, not making fun of it. Like, it's a nice story, and I think it's a story that Philip Kennedy Johnson didn't really get to fully flesh out over the long term. But you know, who knows? Maybe with Tom Taylor writing just a John book, maybe Johnson will get a chance to get some of that in there.
Patrick says, haha, power upgrade may be the way to change the I-beam color to keep them different.
It very well could be. Yeah.
So, and then last
powerful.
Last but not least, and I think Nathan and I both, if you pick this up, we kind of need to apologize. And that's our opinion. You know, we're not saying you may have liked it, but from our perspective, we have to apologize for this book. We always say it when Boom comes out with a #1, we tell you to pick it up because they have options with Netflix. Netflix gets first rights to any story that they make. And this has been the first Boom book that I've read, and I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just telling you, I don't know what the fuck this book is. It was a total fever dream and clusterfuck, in my opinion. There might be people out here that absolutely love it and are like, I totally get it.
What book are you talking about?
Good Luck #1.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
What cover did you get? A?
I got cover A.
Yeah, they were out. I had to get the foil.
I mean, I'm going to put it in a Mylar. I'm going to put it away because you never know, but I just don't see this one getting picked up. I honestly have no fucking clue. Like, you texted me and you were like, dude, did you read Good Luck? I said, yeah. I don't know what it was about. Like, I'm right over my head. Yeah.
So the most that I can get from it is that one day on Earth, the literal God manifestations of good luck and bad luck come to Earth and start fucking shit up. And then at one point they touch, and the whole world has changed, and everyone has a quantifiable amount of luck in their body, whether it's good or bad.
Yep.
There is a group of children who have literally no luck, no good luck, no bad luck. They're just luckless. And for 7 years, they've been running this simulation to see if they can achieve a certain goal for some reason.
Yep.
And after 7 years, they introduce this one new kid, and the dude does it first try. And so the scientists that are experimenting on these kids, who in this experiment literally die every time and then somehow come back, or
it's a simulation. It's not real life. So they're just running through this simulation.
Except the girl is missing her leg and her arm after the simulation is over.
Sure.
So
sorry, I don't know.
I don't understand how it works. It's not explained if they come back to life or not. They basically are now able to do this job that they need to do, but I don't know why, and they're sent off to do it.
And then at the end of the book, we see good and bad luck gods create this new persona. So the bad luck god is this giant woman who's enshrouded in pink. The good luck god is this normal sized human being that has a boombox enshrouded in yellow.
Dude.
Yeah. And then they create a new being who is blue, who looks like the kid that got the simulation to work.
See, I thought that was the kid.
Maybe, I don't know. And the god goes, good luck. And that's how the issue ends. And I ended up reading it and was like, what? what happened? Like, what is going on? I think our description of it sounds more coherent than when you actually read it.
It does. I really made some effort there to
make it sound
try to get it to make sense. And the thing too is the story. So the writing is very hard to follow.
Yes.
And the art was almost good. It's not bad, but it's very, very jumbled and hard to see. Like at one point I was like holding the book back. It was like, there's so much going on here that I guess the good word is just that was too busy. You know, that's a good descriptor.
I
but
think
the thing
right.
is, I would say that this artist, it very much reminded me of Simone DeMio, who's the main artist on We Only Find Them When They're Dead, doing a lot of cover art for DC. I think with a little bit of cleaning up, like the art on this could have been phenomenal.
I think the artwork is really good. I think it's the copy that muddles it up because there's so much deposition.
No,
that's where we'll split because I felt like I couldn't follow. I wanted to pay attention to the artwork, but I wanted to understand what was going on within the copy, and the two couldn't level out. And I feel like that's in my opinion, the main reason why this book was just like the writing was a little off. And it was just all over the place. Like, I think, again, I always reference it. Ron's talked about over at the shop, there's this book that you can read that literally tells you, like, the composition and equation of comics and how they should work and flow. And this is one of these books where it's just, ding dong, bing, bing. It's like a pinball. It's just all over the place. And again, I'm not trying to shit on it, but it just didn't work for me. It might work for somebody else. I'm not, again, I think you should pick it up either way because it's a boom. Number one, put it in a miler, put it away because you never know if it's going to get optioned. But this one fell flat, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree.
Let's see. Kyuki says, yeah, the book feels like it's missing a page or two. I was also really confused by the whole simulation or not thing. Yeah, it's just, it's kind of weird. I kind of want to pick this up because it does sound crazy enough someone at Netflix could do it. Yeah, you're right. It could be an anime, it could be live action, it could definitely fall for it. So that's why we always recommend that. But we just wanted to apologize because we definitely felt like we both felt like we kind of lobbed one up in the air and it didn't work out well. So if you picked it up and you didn't enjoy it and it was because of our recommendation, we apologize. All right. That is the end of our show. Now we're going to get to what everyone has obviously been waiting for. You just want free shit. So we're going to cut to our wheel here. Everyone has entered. We have 14 entries. And I guess I should just press spin really quick, right? Just do it. See who wins. Here we go. Everybody can read. You can see those names.
It's pretty small.
It's not as small as the other wheel that I used. That thing was tiny.
Yeah, that was pretty tiny.
You want to make sure I got everybody? I think I got everybody.
There's no way
I'm sure I did. I got 14 people in here. Here we go. We're spinning it.
I can't read.
You can't read it?
No.
QQ. I don't want to say your name wrong.
Quaku,
you won. Nice. You have won our slab. So you are the proud owner of this 9.8 CGC graded Batman Who Laughs #1. We will be mailing it to you. Just give us an email at twofatguyspoolist@gmail.com. Send us your address and we will get it to you ASAP. So
ASAP as possible.
Thank you everyone who was in the chat. Thanks for showing up. Like I said, we don't do those every week, but maybe we'll do one once a month. Or maybe we'll figure something out. But we're glad that we're able to give away stuff for y'all and be a little bit more interactive. So you have won. Let us know. Yeah, like I said, send us an email at twofatguyspoolist@gmail.com. We'll send it out to you. We'll get it shipped into a nice little box for you. And just to let everybody know, as we continue to do more of these giveaways, I am working on making Two Fat Guys Pool List stickers. So you'll also get a sticker at some point. I just got to get that made. So we're going to work on that. And then I'm going to try to work on some like Two Fat Guys merch because I think we need to have that's a Beefy Hall t-shirt. I think that'd be really cool for people to buy because I think that would be super sick. I'm in the UK. Is that a problem? We'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We will get it to you. That is not a complication for us. So Thanks again, everyone, for watching. We appreciate it. We could not do this without you. That's why we like to do it. We want to build this community. We want to continue the show. We want to build up our subscribers. Let me say one more thing here. If you're not subscribed to the show, or you know somebody that is into comics and they want to watch something new, tell them to subscribe to Two Fat Guys Pull List. We're giving away this 9.4 CGC graded Wolverine #1 from his first ongoing series when we hit 500 subscribers. Last week, we started with 250 subscribers last show. Guys, we're at 273 subscribers. Y'all are phenomenal. I appreciate everybody that is subscribed. Hit that bell, hit that like. We love it. We want to see the community grow. Because the goal is we want to hit 1,000 subscribers before year's end. So please help us on doing that. Spread the word, spread out the show, and as always, thanks again for being here. And please read more comics. We'll see you guys later.